One day. Yeah. Oh, no. They're up. Send me a message when you're home or something. Pull down grabbing.
Welcome everybody. It is the last instalment of the T20 extravaganza, the Festival of Cricket here at Old Beach, the grand final. It's New Norfolk winning the toss and batting. Aaron Drew, Seb Wishart in, Rhett Lockyer bowling for Old Beach. And joining me in the commentary box for the grand final, it's Chris Hobson. Chris, g'day mate.
Oh yeah, thank you very much for being here.
Well, there we go. First one's away. So we had a very interesting finish to the last game, the semi-final. You've got some intel.
Should we talk about that?
Well, we can. I think the people are probably interested in what happened. It was an incredible finish. I certainly haven't seen it on a cricket field or to see this delivery from Lockhart. And then thinking about a run, and I'll get one. So we'll just give you the narrative, explain those that didn't see it. 3 runs needed off 2 balls. Doughton's bowling. He bowls what? Well, he bowled it wide. Keeper takes it, Muir, and throws it at the stumps to try and get a run out. Is that a boarded delivery there from Lockyer? And they go for a second run. Well, they go for a run, and there's probably a chance for a run out at the other end. And then calamity happened, and we spent about 8 or 9 minutes trying to work out what was going on. But we did find out an example, Chris, what did actually occur.
We did. We found out the umpires thought the ball was dead.
Yep.
And that the wicketkeeper was throwing the ball back to the batsman. Now,
we've looked up the rules. We're not 100% sure. Obviously, the umpire. You've done some umpiring before, though, Chris. Yep. You're saying I'm assuming you're qualified.
I like to umpire every now and then.
Yep. Yeah. Does that mean you're qualified, though?
Qualified umpire. Qualified to comment on this.
Okay. All right. So, your interpretation, fair and reasonable, objective interpretation of the decision.
Yes. My interpretation is that the ball was live. If you're actually taking the ball and you throw it within one movement at the stumps, whether the batsman in his crease or out of his crease, the ball's still alive. But then you got the run-out chance, which there was. Whether it was run-out or not,
that's up in the air, isn't it?
Now.
Yep.
But if you appeal for that, how can you appeal for the ball for that run-out if you think the ball's dead? So it's a catch-22.
Look, we looked at the replay a few times. We don't want to be critical of the umpires. In the end, New Norfolk got through to the grand final. They needed 2 off the last, and they still had a chance to tie it. Well, Max still had a chance to win it. There was a drop catch by Drake mid-wicket.
I feel for Braden.
Yeah, I mean, he looked devastated.
He was shattered, the young fella. Great bloke. Bowling his heart out all year. Didn't go well for him today.
Well, his first 3 overs were outstanding, and he dragged them back, but then his last over went for 26. So
yeah, it's always going to hurt you.
Well, first over's done here, so a neat over from Lockyer. New Norfolk are away. They're up for 6 after 1. It's Drew or Wishart. Now, Wishart came in really late. He kept pushing himself down in the order in the semi-final. Eventually came in, and first ball, he lapped it around the corner, which I was calling on the commentary. Someone get around the corner. They've got 4 runs down to this short boundary. And it was a cracking shot from Seb, but he's now back into his more natural position, Chris,
at the
opening.
Top of the order, yeah. He loves it up the top. As long as there's no yellow chalk out there, we can actually use that, because every time he uses yellow chalk, he gets a duck.
Does he really?
Yeah.
You've got some insight. Well, I know that you also do some social media work for the Southern Cricket Association. I've been reading your little posts. You've got some insights, though. You must know everybody. Well, you've said g'day to everyone so far since I've been here.
There's a lot of people in this competition I do know. It does make it easy when you're umpiring as well. When you've got the respect of the players, you've got the respect of the viewers, and it just makes your job so much easier. And people come and ask you, what did you think about this? How did that go? And you've got to sit and have a chat.
Well,
good sport.
Yeah, I think community sport, the sport's all about the social side of it for most of us. And a bowled really well was Thomas Blackwell in the semi-final. I'm really impressed with his spell. He's got a nice action. He's got an excellent wrist position, a little cock with his wrist as he releases it. And generally his decision-making when the pressure was on was excellent throughout. So he's bowling from this southern end of the ground. The wind at the moment has dropped down. We've got Martin Duffy high up on the scissor lift, not as high as what he usually would be, and that's due to the fact he doesn't want to get blown off. And we've got Jero on the pots and pans, and the little Duffette doing the scoring. So we've got a full house here in the Duffette Mobile as that one squeezed out onto the leg. I'm really interested, Chris. What do you think is a score on this ground? Because I've seen 215, we've seen 159 and some scores in the high 140s. What is a par score?
Being such a small ground, as you've seen with Old Beach in the first innings, getting over 200 runs. Then you got Wellington that probably didn't, use the ground as much as they should have used. And coming from Edie Street, being a small ground as well, you'd expect them to get more. Speaking with the coach after the game, he was adamant they just didn't score enough runs for the small ground. So the onus comes on there. If your bowler's trying to defend that target that's under par, you're going to struggle. I mean, if New Norfolk can register, say, 160, 170, they're definitely going with the show. Yeah,
Andrew Downton came in before and he thought 170 was a par mark, and I think it's pretty close as well. So sort of between the two scores that we saw in the first game. There's a conservative start by both these batters, but what we've seen in the two totals that have set as good solid starts, and they've provided the opportunity for some late hitting the back end. The two teams that have struggled, although New Norfolk did win, they lost wickets at the top.
Yeah, you've definitely got to keep some wickets in for them lower orders. Well, you can't rely on a bloke like Stuart Rice to come out and just go berserk.
He's not going to do it every game, is he?
No.
So too much pressure.
But he could do it again. He really could do it again. He's got the ability there. He's got the experience. And being a small ground, it plays into his wheel arc.
Well, they've got the leg side to the right of the screen, so that's probably the side of the ground is a little bit easy to defend. As Drew trying to smack that one away.
That's right, Drew. I think he needs to get more across to that ball there. He's just playing from the crease. His feet are nowhere.
Is that happening in T20? Does sometimes you forget about moving your feet and being, moving into the ball and just playing genuine cricket shots?
I mean, Drew is a great hitter. He loves to hit the ball. Actually, he's just taken off the leg stump. Just watch this one come in.
That was a bit of a stinker then, down leg side, and they'll get a run as well. So a couple there, that's a little frustrating. So he's looking to swing to leg at the moment. And Wishart, I'd imagine, will probably just nudge it around for the first few overs, and maybe they'll bat around Wishart.
Might be the way to go. So if Tom can keep going the way he has done, like he's taken 14 wickets so far this season, an average just over 15.
They're good stats, aren't they?
Yeah, very young fella.
He doesn't look. I saw him walk past. I didn't think he was that old.
Yeah, I'm not sure if he's over or under 18.
Okay.
He'd be very close to either side.
Well,
that's not a bad start from him, though.
Yeah, he's not an overly tall bowler, but he's got a nice whippy action. The front leg's nice and straight and gets a bit of energy through the crease. A couple of overs gone, 13 on the board, yet to register a boundary in Norfolk. But a solid start here. You're on Duff TV. We'll just say g'day and thanks to a few of the sponsors from the Kookaburra Southern Cricket Association. Well, Kookaburra provide all the gear and have been a major sponsor for many years, and the naming rights. Bendigo Bank, Good Sports. I saw a presentation last year from Good Sports. They're doing a great job in encouraging some responsible and service of alcohol, but also looking after your mates at your club in the Greg Chappell Cricket Centre down there in Moona. So thanks to all those sponsors, and we'll have a chat and see. There they are up on the screen. Good on you, Jero. He's got them going. Drew on strike.
And Matty O'Brien coming in for his
And
first
I
over
didn't
the
rate
final.
O'Brien wasn't bad in this. Unfortunately, that's going to go over the top. Once it gets behind the fielder, it races away for 4, and Justin Little had no chance. Now he's got to go over and climb the fence. It's good old-fashioned cricket, isn't it, when you've got to climb the fence to get the ball?
You do. If it goes over the big fence, you go into the next door neighbour's house, and hopefully the neighbours around here are quite accommodating.
Well, what are they like anyway? We've seen a few have to wander out and return balls. As we see that shot, it was just the hands kind of thrown at it, and the left leg went out and created some space, and the result was a boundary. But there's only a little hole down there, and it still managed to find it.
Well, so far this year, you've had a ball go through one of the tile roofs.
Right.
You've had a ball virtually 1 over old, Kookaburra regulation, like a $90 ball, lost. Maybe the Dogs got that one. So you do lose a lot of balls here, probably more than you do at Timwood Park, actually.
Right. That's through the infield, and it'll register another 4. That's a really classy cricket shot. And sometimes just genuine cricket shots, Chris. I mean, they're the way to go, aren't they? On a outfield that's fast, it's mowed right down. The wind's been around, the sun's been around. It's probably sped up again as the day's gone on.
That's it. Both cricket shots so far from Drew here have been absolutely educated. No risk whatsoever in those.
So good over so far. And I think, you know, you don't want to try and get too much for yourself and just knock it around, maybe get off strike, get Wishart up the other end. You don't need to be too greedy and try and get one over the top. We saw quite a few balls smack into the hands of the inner ring in these couple of semi-finals as the bowler on his follow-through getting an under edge. So you're involved in the committee, so we've got to say good day to the committee, and a few of them aren't around today, so there's a few people out on their holidays already.
Yeah, we've got the president. Lucky him, he's up at Abishino at his shack.
Wow.
So enjoying the time up there. So g'day, Sean.
Yeah, let's hope
going?
Sean's enjoying himself up there. He doesn't get to do the presentation this year.
I'm sure you're enjoying the weather up there. Maybe the wind could die down a little bit.
Yeah, well, you know, it might be losing the top of his frothy, I reckon, as Damien Wright wanders past.
Great bowler in his day, that fella.
Oh, just a ripping cricketer. What full-hearted cricket. That's the end of the over. We are seeing the celebrities full here at Old Beach.
He tried to kill me one day at Bunston Arena. Just after he just got dropped from the state team. He was trying to, you know, get back in there, which he ended up doing. Like as I said, awesome cricketer. But it's definitely the most frightening spell of bowling I've ever faced in my life.
Yeah, he was a little quicker than what you thought, wasn't he, Damien Wright?
But the nicest bloke too.
Beloved cricketer, originally from New South Wales, wasn't he? Or was he Victorian?
New South Wales.
Yeah.
I think
Yes, he was. He's
Andrew Downton came
Yeah,
down.
you're right. They came down. He did say that before. There's a player who might have to make some runs later on today. His Lamb.
A very big hitter side.
Yeah, he's capable going long.
Bowl some handy medium pace.
Well, we didn't see bowl in the first semi-final, so I'd maybe expect to see him again, and that's on the money. Back of a length, and we look at the field at the moment. That's probably the spot to bowl. There's a little bit of coverage deep on the mid-wicket fence, but that one's just knocked in for a single.
And there's a guy there, Jade Clay, you do not want to take on in the inner ring.
He's quick, isn't he?
Very quick, rocket arm, and very direct when he hits those stumps.
He's in the action again. It looks like Drew's I feel like he's about to wind up on a couple, but he's got a big back lift as it kind of flicks up at the last minute. Steady over again from Thomas. So the SCA is going strength to strength. Obviously, there's a full-time cricket at Tasmania. We've got some affiliation things all happening. What are the big ticket items at the moment for the association, Chris?
At the moment, we're trying to get more of the committee involved in the clubs. In the new year, we're all going to get around the clubs and talk to their committee members, just to see what we're doing right at SCA level. Looks like we've got a ticket there.
There's a first. Well, they did something right there in Old Beach. Thomas gets a wicket. And probably out of nowhere, really. Drew was trying to fling that one over cover. All he got was a top edge and a comfortable catch at third man inside the circle. So first wicket down here. And Old Beach has struck. And we'll just see this one in the replay. So there's those two catches behind, and he's found one of them. Easy catch. And Drew gone. So Banks Smith, who dug in the first or the last game, is now coming out again. He only seemed like he batted half an hour ago.
Usually scores very heavily, Jordan.
He's improved his cricket. I've seen him play a little bit, and I think he's a little bit quicker with the ball now, and he's improved his batting. He's got maybe some more scoring ranges. He's also got a bit stronger too.
Well, he used to be just an all-and-out bowler back in his younger days. As you said, he's improved his batting so much, it's gone out of sight.
Well, he used to be a lower order batter, didn't he?
Yeah.
Sort of early on in his career.
Just our hitter. But now we sort of... I bought him a game last year where him and both Rigby got hundreds out at Timwood Park, and it was some of the cleanest hitting you're likely to see. It was absolutely beautiful to watch. So it's like his batting's overtaken his bowling.
Okay.
They'll probably need him to dig in a bit here with Seb.
Yeah, I think one of them kind of needs to accelerate. I imagine that's probably Banks Smith, but initially needs to just be patient. There's the example of probably an improved defence.
Just how good Tom Blackwell is bowling. He's bowling really well. Just tying up that one end.
I just wonder, they kind of set him up for this one. They had two players at the third man region. They offered up a little spot on the leg side. Blackwell was bowling outside off, back of the length. Just now and again gets a little bit of nip off the wicket. And that maybe just took Drew by surprise as he edged it through. So it was a clever piece of bowling. It's a bit about the build-up. It's not necessarily just about the delivery. And we've got another bowling change again.
Brett Lockyer back on. Old
So
Beach mixing it up again.
So he's bowled one, and then he's gone off, and now he's going to bowl another one. So he bowled some useful overs in the first game earlier this morning, which seems a long time ago now. And he's bowled that one a little short. You could just see him actually take his little finger off the ball there, which sometimes means you get a little bit more purchase on the ball. So Bank Smith now just taking strike to Rhett Lockyer. Such an experienced player. I remember in his early days, Lockyer, one of the best fielders I think we've probably seen in Tassie. Brilliant fielder, and he was nearly on for an LB there.
Yeah, a long time ago in his early days, he was 12th man for the Aussies.
He was, wasn't he?
Fielding there,
took
got
that catch.
2 run-outs.
Yeah, I was 2 run-outs. I thought there was a catch as well.
Yeah, I think there might have been.
It might have been. Was that a test match against New Zealand?
It was,
yeah,
yes.
Pretty incredible. I saw him take I think he played in the early days of the Tassie T20 before it came franchise. I vaguely remember a screaming catch he took somewhere at mid-wicket, as that one's just work wide and they'll scamper through for a single. The crowd's just a little bit disappeared a little bit. I think there's probably plenty in the club room still. So come on down if you want to see anything like the semi-final, which was a rip-roaring finish and went down to the very last sliver. In fact, it went down to the very last second as New Norfolk won their way through to this grand final, defeating Wellington.
I think we too with not many clubs. A lot of clubs actually playing today. We had 20 clubs out of 27 being represented in the finals today. So maybe they're supporting their own grounds instead of getting around to first grade. But
yeah, I mean, there could be. I mean, obviously the first grade grand final, the 50 over games in isolation, so it's a game played outside the season. I mean, it's hard to tell. I know the committee previously have chatted to Duff and I about when was a good time to film it. We left it up to them, thought this is a good time. Do you do it on a night? But then which ground's got appropriate lighting? I suppose Abbotsford Park. So there's a bunch of things to get right.
Ready to come back in.
Well, would he be batted at 4, 5 or 6 maybe? We're saying he's got a triple ton many years ago, and anyone who hits a triple century, that was Tinwell Park actually.
The pigskin on that bat, that's an old bat.
That is a beauty, isn't it?
For the young kids out there that haven't seen a good bat.
I don't reckon that colour is unusual as well, isn't it? Like a really dark colour. It's seen a lot of sunshine, which probably indicates he's left it in the boot of his car, or he's been out in the middle a lot with it. Thomas, back of a length, not a bad spot to put it, as both batters just working into their innings. Who are the sort of couple of standout sort of players you've seen while you've been umpiring, particularly with the bat, Chris, over the years in the Southern Cricket Association?
Probably the current crop we have now, like Rhett this year, is like a standout. But probably the best I've ever seen, and actually we had the pleasure of playing with a lot, was Wayne Quarrell. Doesn't play much now for injury and a young family, but he could just change a game on its head.
And he hit either side of the wicket, couldn't he?
Yes.
Yeah.
And then you got players nowadays like Nathan Webb. Absolute gun out there. With New Norfolk, Matty Bowden not playing today, but an absolute gun batsman. So most clubs do have at least one good batsman in their club. Yeah,
certainly the top teams do have one, maybe even 2 this year. There's kind of a couple have come back. Obviously, you know, some of the players move between SCA and Premier League, come for a couple of years and go back again, depending on circumstances or family or time. You know, often there's a bit of commitment required to play Premier League, which not everyone's got that commitment or that time.
Well, the most powerful batsman I've ever seen is Nathan Mallinson at St Anne's. It doesn't matter where you bowl there, he'll hit you anywhere. And then if you move the field, he'll hit it to where that fielder was.
He's clever, isn't he? He works the field and manipulates it like an orchestra conductor. The grand final for the 50 over game we coverage, and only had a small chase, and he just did what he wanted for about 20 minutes and won the game. It was probably good that it happened like that. Otherwise, it was a complete fizzer when the rain came through and shortened it considerably. But Nathan Mallison came out and did what Nathan Mallison does. Doesn't look the neatest of batters, but he just puts the ball in all sorts of directions. You think, hang on, that's the same ball. It's gone over the leg. Next ball's gone over the off. So, yeah, a very cagey player.
Yeah, very good control.
Well, it's good control at the moment from Thomas. Bowling here for the northern end of the ground. Early stages, 1 for 33, New Norfolk. Wishart, Banks Smith. They're new in, although in saying that, that's edged. That's out.
Another catch to Matthew O'Brien.
So O'Brien's doing the work at short third man. He's taken a catch and another wicket disappears. So the run rate's been just okay, on par, but a couple of wickets down are going to hurt. And Spank Smith leads the field of play. It's that length again, wasn't it, Chris?
It was. It was beautiful bowling by Tommy Blackwell. Absolutely showing his absolute experience over his years at the moment. Now here comes Stewie Rice to the crease. Now you would think Old Beach would have watched his innings against Wellington.
Well, I tell you what, there was one spot he wanted to hit Rice, and they had it. They got the field right for the last couple of deliveries, and it made a difference. But they've got to be crafty here. And at the moment, the length that Blackwell's bowling is going to be hard for Rice to hit. He might not try and slap him too early.
I think the secret to getting Stewie Rice, and I was given the Matthew Smith gave me the information a few years ago. Come around the wicket to him and bowl very slow. It's like a slow ball and cross him, and you always just go for it and just go straight in the air.
So get a bit of angle on the balls.
Exactly, but slow it down. Like, if they can do that sort of thing, being a short boundary, he'll be enticed to sort of hit that. But then again, the way Tommy's bowling, he might go straight for him.
Well, sensible cricket is he just nudges into the offside for no run. And that is a successful over. So it's been a good little start here for Thomas. He's picked up a couple, I should say, for Thomas Blackwell. 2 wickets to him, nearly identical fashion. Batters trying to drive at balls that weren't really there to be driven, and a catch taken at short third man. So a couple down, 2 for 33. Well, at least the wind's dropped at the moment, which is good for us. Good for the players as well.
It's good that we've got some sunshine.
Ah, yeah, it's been
a terrible start to the season.
It's been abysmal, hasn't it?
This Jade Clay coming on to bowl. Now Jade's more of a skidder. He'll just sort of skid that ball along. Doesn't get much bounce. So I'm interested to see how Seb does attack this sort of situation. Last over before the power play.
So the field at the moment, there's a sweeper on the leg side. He's in the action. And there's another couple on the offside as well. So 6 overs are gone here. We can have some fielders outside the ring. Feels calm at the moment, Chris, after all the excitement of the semis and all the wind and all the balls being bashed by Rice.
Well, hopefully Stewie can keep going again. The excitement that sort of a batsman going there and clearing the pickets, it creates buzz around the ground.
Well, it created a fair bit of buzz in the people living on Jetty Road. They were out of their houses every time he was lining up. And that was some awkward cricketers. Players falling over everywhere and just a single. Yeah, there was one. I think was there actually a ball lost, I think, early in the day. He might not have been here, but I think there was a lost ball, or certainly one that took a long time to find. And I imagine it came back with a few bruises on it, as well as it crashed nearly onto a roof. But you mentioned there was one onto a roof early in the year.
Yeah, it went straight through the tile.
Oh. Now that's picked out a fielder. No. Just to the left. And you could hear a little bit of excitement.
I think maybe in his heyday, Gerard Denton might have got to that.
He's still a good athlete, though, isn't he? He's good. He's in good nick.
For 44,
yeah,
he's one of the fittest blokes around, even with bung knees and ankles. Loves his cricket.
That's just short. So the fielder's getting peppered at the moment. That was a nasty one. You don't really like those, and it's copped his fingers too. There's a replay there, just dropping short. He's getting a little bit of pace at the moment, and that's pity pacey. Denton's going to have to do some work, and he does a wonderful job. And in fact, they only might have got one then.
Talk about amazing fielding.
There we go. Well, there's an example right there, Chris, isn't it? That's sensational from Denton. Wow, there it is on the replay, and quickly back into position, and also strong arm too.
Oh. Was that a chance?
Well, the camera moved and I swung my head out of the van to try and see, and I missed both. So I'm not sure.
Looked like Tyrannosaurus Rex fingers there.
Ah.
Was there a bit of a pull away?
Here we go. Oh, nutmeg through the legs. I think it might have just bounced. But overly not glamorous though, was it either way?
No. But at least it didn't cost a boundary.
No.
And Tommy's coming on to bowl his 4th over. I mean, at the moment he has 3 overs, 2 for 11.
Do you like this? Bowling obviously a young player, getting him through his overs. So obviously not putting pressure on because Rice may not go yet. So are they just trying to get his overs done?
I think that's probably the secret to it. He's bowled well, like 3 overs have gone for 11 and he's taken 2 wickets. If he takes Rice now in his last over, that's going to set Old Beach up through the middle overs.
Well, we've got a contest on. Rice, Blackwell. And a woofed outside off. No contact on that one. So Rice at the moment. So we've got a couple of fielders protecting his hitting area down towards the net on the leg side. So a long off, I should say a long on, and a deep mid wicket. We've also got a fine leg in place, a 3rd man and a deep point. So they are protecting both sides of the ground at the moment with Rice. And he goes down the ground, but it's not going to get past. Islam comes around and cuts it off.
He's hitting the ball well. I think Seb Wishart just needs to sort of get Rice on strike.
He hasn't had the strike. Yeah, you're probably right. He's kind of been stuck, sort of treading water a bit, Wishart. He's a good cricketer. I've seen him play a few times. I think he's really suited to maybe the 50-over game. Just gives him a little bit more time and opportunity to nudge the ball and do that.
Just sort of all the team bat around him, as you mentioned at the beginning. And around him.
It's harder to do sometimes a T20 because everyone needs to get momentum going at some stage. But if you're only 2 down and it's 12 overs to go, then good result, I suppose.
And there's time to go.
Yep.
You've got the hitters in the shed ready to come out and smack.
Rice is in a little early, so they're taking a not a mild gamble, just bringing him up a little bit early. It does give him maybe some of the faster bowlers to have a little go at. There'll be a bunch of spinners that'll come on at some stage. Another delivery from Blackwell outside and past a flashing blade of a New Norfolk batter. Some frustration from Wishart, who played a critical role in the first game, but he batted right at the depth. Whereas in this game,
it's a very good shot through the leg side there. Great pull shot from Wishart. Gets to the boundary.
Well, there you go. We weren't giving him a bit of a slacking. We're just saying momentum's important, and he hits a boundary. So overdone. Wishart 18. The batters out, Drew and Banks Smith. Blackwell, the man doing the damage. Lockie's bowled 2 overs. O'Brien and Clay have come in and just bowled 1 over each. And there we go. O'Brien with 2 catches, all in the same spot. If he stands there all day, he could probably stand there for weeks and not get a catch in that position at short. Managed to snaffle 2 today. So Jade Clay to continue. Was reasonably light round arm, doesn't he, Chris? And it just, it hits the wicket and probably doesn't bowl from a really high arm action. We'll just have a look at it here. It's a generally nice action. That's nice. That's a big, monstrous 6.
That has been mowed.
And there's a bit of a chase on here and a scramble to find that one. What a ripper.
Tell you what, I wonder if they can bring back a coffee from the Verve Cafe after that.
Oh, look,
that was massive.
It's on its way.
Look out, kids on the skate park.
Well, those kids have been in danger for quite a bit of the day. They've just gone away. I suppose they've got a helmet on. Maybe it's more dangerous to skate than be a cricket spectator when you're not watching, but That was a mighty blow from Rice and a spot he's hit a few. He's trying to wind up for a second. There's some confidence in that, but I think it's a white ball. It's not exactly swinging, is it?
No,
It's dead after 5 overs. It probably gets soft a little quicker. But in a 20-over game, the ball does remain pretty colourful. It's nice to pick up. You've got to change. We haven't seen many changes of pace, have we, in most of the innings that we've seen so far?
Well, there's a slow ball from Clay there. Does bowl a good slow ball, Jade.
Is it an art form that isn't used as much by sort of suburban and lesser qualified cricketers without being too unfair on some of these players?
See where you're coming from there, but a lot of them do bowl. Like Jade bowls a great slow ball with the back of the hand and the off cut.
I suppose it's a little bit about they don't train as much as someone who's played Premier League and come back. They've obviously mastered and had time to practice it without any pressure. But a lot of people are only training once a week, aren't they? In this comp.
Yeah, it's definitely the secret on Symphony because it's not going to change the pitch condition.
Yeah, the pitch. Yeah.
So you've got to vary your pace and your length. If you can do that and deceive the batsman, you've got more of a chance than just bowling straight at the stumps or, as Jay's doing, skidding. So he's got to vary his pace all the time, or else he's just going to keep doing the journey like that, straight over cover.
Wow. Has it
one bounce
been kept?
The boundary?
No, it's found it. It's quite an extraordinary cricket shot. It went high in the air, so it lost a little bit of potential distance in it.
I thought Matt O'Brien was a chance to grab his third catch.
I thought he was coming around initially. I've jumped up. That was a brutal cricket shot. There it is again. Must be a good bat.
Look at all that pigskin on it.
It must be art. Is he getting artificial support? The wing keel. And now he's tried a little dab. Maybe just needs to go back to trying to whack it. Yeah. Don't get too fancy, young Rice.
Stick to what you know, Stewie.
Yeah, and it's the end of the over. And maybe the score climbs up.
Maybe the 12th man should run a message out to Stewart. Say, enough of this finessing.
Yeah, just give it a whack.
Here for your power game. So we've still got a great look at that bat that he's got. That is a monster.
So, Lockyer, I thought he might be a chance to bowl Lockyer just in his middle overs. I think taking the pace off, it's not a bad option.
We'll see how Denton's going to come
so
from
Denton
this
is going to come from this end.
He normally comes from the top end.
Well, he's going to have to push uphill a bit.
But he's got the wind behind him. Maybe that's why he's changed.
Well, the last over from Downton was this end, and I was a little surprised he didn't bowl the second last over from that top end.
Yeah, you normally try to have your best bowler bowl that penultimate over.
Yeah, you do, don't you? And make it harder for that, but I ended up having him bowl the last over. This is an important moment. 9 overs gone. They haven't quite got it rollicking yet, but Rice is ready. You just feel like he's about to pounce on anything that's in his hitting zone. And that mid-wicket area could be in a bit of strife.
Interesting to see how he goes, because Denton's just trying to bowl line and length. No pace here, just going through the crease. And if Rice gets underneath it, it is going to go into the houses. I think from this end, the fire station is in danger.
Well, you're right. He probably is at the right pace, isn't he? He's just got enough pace for when the ball whacks onto the bat, it's got a chance to go. But he also bowls very accurately and can cut the ball as well. So you'll fiddle around with it, run his fingers down the seam potentially.
He's saying that Stewie Rice is actually picking his balls to hit. So he's put a lot of thought into his innings.
Is that his standard, or is he just go out there and whack usually?
I just thought it was just he went out and whacked.
Maybe that's what everyone else thinks, but...
No, so he doesn't like the quick singles.
Yeah. There's a lot of cricketers out there that don't like quick singles, particularly that the strikers then, they're often keen to get down there, maybe the non-strikers.
Yeah, quick singles are a very slow free.
Yeah.
No, not in this league. I think Stewie's come up to 7 saying, just be a bit careful on them runs, mate. I'm not 20 anymore. The last thing you want to do is run Stewie Rice out after his innings in the semi-final.
It was a beauty, and it was a difference in the end. It's the reason they're there. Regardless of what happened at the end, with a little bit of controversy, a drop catch, opportunities gone begging, run out. It was this man, Rice, that got them from 9.8 run rate back to below 8. And within a chance. He got out late, but he'd done his job by that stage. A nice little start here from Denton. So another over gone. We're halfway into this innings. They're going at just over 6. So they'll need to up it, but they've got a batter that can do it. And there's some of the sponsors from the Old Beach Cricket Club. So can you give us any dirt on the umpires today? Or we're not allowed to say anything? Some sort of umpire brotherhood that you're unable to...
If there is, I don't know about it.
Well, you need to dig a bit deeper. You've got some dirt on some of the players by the look of your Facebook posts.
Got plenty of dirt on the players. All good, though. I'd never say a bad word about
No,
a player.
I'm sure you wouldn't. Now, that's in the air. And a disappointment. Wishart's is out.
That was a terrible shot.
Well, you heard it here first from Chris Hobson. It wasn't the best. And we're talking about Lockyer again as well. And I'll get a bit of a look-ski on the replay. Here it is. So Rhett Lockyer, I was thinking he's going to be into the attack soon. A little speedy number. And
I don't know where he's tried to hit that.
Well, he's trying to hit it.
He's hit it straight down Gerard Denton's throat.
Well, he's not doing his game, is he? His game is to knock a single and get Rice on strike. That's a big wicket, I reckon.
That's what you think.
And now
you've got 2 hitters now coming
in.
in.
Rowan Heron out now. He's a very consistent cricketer, Rowan Heron. Regularly averages in the mid to high 20s throughout his first grade career. A stalwart of all nature and still playing footy first for the New Norfolk.
Had a good game on Barry Hall last year, apparently.
Yeah, I commentated that game. You know what? He played well. He actually played well when he was off Barry Hall. He played much better, but
very great footballer.
Yeah, look, I think Bank Smith might have ran near him as well at some stage, but he's a sensational footballer. Pretty useful sportsman.
Yeah, I don't think Jordan would have run too close to Barry.
No.
Jordan, he does rate his guns, but Barry's got bazookas.
He's beefed up a little bit, but Barry was in no minds. But at one stage, his hamstring had absolutely cooked itself about 5 minutes into the last quarter, and he was no chance to anything unless it was right on his chest. As that one's at the toes of Rowan Heron. So at the moment, there's a strong offside field inside the circle for the new batter Heron. They've just upped the ante a little bit here, Old Beach, by bringing a couple of extra fielders inside the inner ring. Trying to put a bit of pressure on the new batter, keep him on strike for 3 or 4 deliveries. And that's not going to help a wide. Yeah, I don't think I'll be running too close to Barry Hall either.
No, I've stood next to Barry, and he's not small.
No, and he's still pretty fit too. Still running around it, getting the ball.
We look at him in that boxing match against Gallen. That was a lot of people thought could have gone one way and not the other, and wasn't a draw. He's very fit for a guy that's been out of the game for 5 years. 44. So he's obviously been keeping a nick with his boxing exploits. Lockyer, another flatter one, a big, loud, aggressive appeal. Just going down leg, that one.
On the angle, isn't he? He's going round the wicket. It's a difficult one. I think Doran sort of mentioned, yep, it's going down.
Yeah, I think Doran might have got that one right.
Well, to be honest, it's pretty hard on that angle. And another one that's gone a little too far down leg for another wide. It's been a wicket in the over, but a couple of sloppy deliveries from Lockyer. It's hard to get away, though, with those sort of flat darts.
He does spin it. For being that direct in there. We've got an overthrow here. Bit of sloppy fielding there from the Old Beach boys.
Yeah, you probably don't need too much of that. It brings Rice on strike. I'm actually looking forward to this. He's only going to get, I think, 1 ball in this over. Rice against Lockyer, the experienced Premier League and former Tasmanian player.
Let's just hope Stewie Rice can do a Ben Beams and just milk that last single off the over to get a shot at the next over. Hello to Ben too if you're watching.
I'm sure Ben is watching. Loves his cricket.
That's a great shot off his legs.
Well, there you go. We're going to look forward to that one, and all it is the flick away for 4 runs. So good end to the over. We'll just see it on the replay. It's probably not the right ball. He was bowling outside back of a length of off stump, and with that field, he really couldn't bowl too straight and too full, and
especially
That was
on his
delivery.
legs.
Yeah, and he's whipped it away as it's a competent cricket shot. So Denton versus Heron, two veterans of the competition. Two players that will give it their all. Tell you what, Denton's batting was pretty useful.
Batting really well. He got into form probably last week. He got Old Beach home against Surreal, which basically if Old Beach had lost that game, they probably could have kissed their finals next year away. And he came in at 3 and batted through the innings. I think 84 not out.
Okay, so
Just anchored the innings.
And he's
Quality
certainly capable of that. Now the old arm's going to have to do a bit of bowling.
And just hopefully his ankles and knees can hold up.
Tell you what, Davin Wooldridge wasn't too fast as he was getting back in position there.
I love Davin. Davin's got the best bowling style ever. Just nice little slow dooply dopplers.
Well, he's nearly in the action. That's worked away. Comfortable single. So if it is 160-ish, they've got a bit of work to do. So they've got another 92 runs to kind of get in 9 overs, which with Rice in, you'd say they're a chance, but feels like it's more like a 140 score at the moment.
I think Stewie's going to pick his battles. Looking at
Is he?
Beach's
I
fourth
mean,
and fifth bowler.
what's Lockie's got 1 to go, hasn't he? He might not bowl the next day. I feel like he might take himself on. Maybe Clay might come back again. Or maybe O'Brien, yeah.
I think he's only bowled 1.
I wonder if O'Brien is the one that he does take on just a little bit of less pace. I know he doesn't mind the pace, but with the pace, with a bit less pace, he's actually got more capacity to get underneath the ball a bit. So there's plenty to look forward to in this game, in this innings.
I'd be tempted to bring Davin Wooldridge on straight at Stewie Rice. Them slow balls, Rice will just open his eyes. I think I'm going to have these for lunch.
So you've got to get the field right though, don't you, Chris?
Yes. But in saying that, the ground's so small. Good shot, Pat.
Well, that's a terrific shot from Rowan Heron. He struggled a little bit in the first game. He didn't really get any momentum going in his innings, and that'll give him a lot of confidence with a genuine square drive. Always good to see a left-hander play a square drive. Alan Border style and away to the fence for 4. And Denton just losing his line, and it was just a fraction wider than probably where he's trying to get it with that field set.
Oh, that was a bit quicker. I don't think he liked that getting hit for 4 through square.
he took, I reckon he took a couple of steps further back, didn't he? We're getting some advice from a gentleman here.
Hello to Squizzy Taylor there.
Squizzy Taylor, g'day Squizzy. There he is. G'day Squizzy. Oh, there we go. That was a wide, surely.
That's 10 wides.
it's a double wide.
He didn't like getting square driven for 4.
And he's going, well, I'll cop that. But you got to know, there's been very few short balls. Andrew Doughton was saying he was prepared to bowl a couple, but sometimes on synthetic wickets, it's not a lot of use to bowl short ones. They just do that.
Yeah, you've got to be right at the top of the lid. Although Denton's one there was about...
It was the top of the lid if you were sitting on top of his head.
Yes.
That's the end of a Denton over. So 8 overs left. So we reckon O'Brien could be the go. We'll just have a little look out to see if he's going to be next in.
Red again.
No, Rhett Lockie's going to bowl out here, so he's got 3 overs, 1 for 19. This could be fun. So Rice on strike to Rhett Lockyer. A big strike of the ball with players protecting the leg side and that shorter side boundary. Lockyer's going to have to bowl outside off. But he can still bowl 4 with 2 men straight. And that's where he bowls. And this is going to be... do you think, Chris, that he's going to be prepared to wait this over out and just go to Lockyer, I'll let you go through, you're going to bowl fast at me, I'm not going to try and take you on?
If you're a red cap supporter, you would be hoping, unless he does that.
No, well, it's going
to be out.
Over the fingertips and 4. We've seen...
I don't think he got to the boundary.
That didn't. We've seen quite a few of those today where it's gone over and the fielders misjudged it. They've either come into the ball or it's gone back. And another example of the difficulty of fielding out there in this wind, but the misjudgment.
Tommy Blackwell was misjudged.
That is.
Well.
That's an interesting one, isn't it? In the end, he didn't even get his fingertips to it. But somehow he actually managed to keep it in play. And I think at this stage he's gone, hang on, it's not going out. I better hurry up. At least I can have that in the book as Heron. And I think they only got a single.
That's all they got, yeah.
Yeah.
But he saved himself $2 because if he didn't get a hand to it, he didn't get $2 in the fine.
is that the fine, is it? Well, you might have to look at the replay if he got a bit of bark to that one. And he's going to be in the action again. And this time he gets every bit of part of his body around behind that one as the wind picks up again, as it has one more go across the ground here at Old Beach.
So if Red bowls wide here, Stewie's going to put these into the houses.
I think I agree. I think he'll have a crack, won't he? Maybe straight there.
Or square.
And there's not a big gap out there on that deep mid-wicket fence. And he's found a gap of probably 15, 20 metres. That's a terrific cricket shot. The other thing is he controlled it too, didn't he, Chris? Didn't try and slog it and get it too high. He's hit down to high to low and got it across the carpet eventually. That was a quality cricket shot. This is a cracking battle at the moment.
He's got to stay there.
Now he's gone.
That's over again.
That's a big one. It's bigger than the last. Clears the fence.
It's another Verve coffee shop one, that one.
Well, it's nearly into those portable toilets down there. And unfortunately, the fielder has to go and get it. We see on the replay, doesn't matter if he's ran in for that one. That was over the fence and away it went. So a 6 to end. Runs off that over. And once again, it's Rice on 33. The gentleman that's providing the incentive and motivation and acceleration in these middle overs. There are some of our sponsors from Norfolk Cricket Club, the Red Caps. I know one of their major sponsors used to be the Football Club. I'm not sure if that's still one of their sponsors. The Football Social Club.
Not 100%. I do know they've got Banjo's pies up there all the time.
Well,
if you ever get there, try one of their cheeseburgers. Absolutely amazing.
I have stopped there a few times on my journeys up to the West Coast.
That's a good shot.
Well, Heron's played two nice shots now. There was that square drive in the last over, and now a glide through that vacant slip area. And on both occasions, it's resulted in 4 runs without a lot of risk. And Denton's now off. Well, how many steps is he off now? He's reduced it quite a bit.
I think with the field he's got now, he's bringing deep square.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea. I don't imagine Rowan Heron's going to hit out to there, not deliveries back of a length outside off stump. So they can chew that up. They've still got a player deep backward square, and it allows him to put a third man in play. So there's a third man now going into a fine third man and some protection out at deep point and also deep cover, both patrolling the boundary. So just probably a mix-up with the field then. You've got to think a lot, don't you, in this game? You've got to be on as a bowler because you want to get your field right, and the keeper, the captain's got to be on their game as well.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Rhett would be allowing Gerard
to
pick his own field.
Yeah, absolutely.
He knows where he's going to bowl. And like, a good captains will allow the bowler to control what's going on because they know exactly where it's going to bowl. Especially in 20-over cricket, the bowler might have an idea mid-over. I want to try this.
Yeah, I agree. I think
so we just move that fielder to that position.
Let them be empowered with what they're doing, and he darts that one in. Not going to get a single here, are they? That was...
It's very good respect there from Stewart, a full toss.
He did. It just, I reckon it dipped on him a little bit. It was a bit slow ball maybe. Maybe it was finally a slow ball.
If that was in the last 2 or 3 overs of the innings, I reckon they'd be going over top of our heads.
Yeah, I reckon he might have gone down on one knee and tried to launch that towards the Derwent.
He's batting very responsibly.
There's a different feel about this innings, though, isn't there? Though he's come in a little bit early, he has a little bit more time to develop his innings and evolve his game. They're not behind on the run rate quite as far as what they were, and they're also setting a total. So there's, I suppose, a bit more respect going on, and there are only 3 wickets now. 92 on the board. We're in the 14th over. Jared Denton runs away from us, bowling to Heron. He's got the protection on the offside now. Something he didn't have a few balls to go when the ball was worked through to third man for 4.
We'll be interested to see how Old Beach do this. You've got both Rhett and Tom have both bowled out.
So we mentioned O'Brien. Who else can we see from Old Beach come on, Chris?
Well, they've only used the 5. You'd have Devon Waldridge.
Waldridge has bowled in the last game, didn't he? He was good in the last game. He had a couple of good overs, so we'll try and get those stats up in a minute.
You'll play like Justin Cartledge, these sort of guys. I don't think you expect Justin to bowl today.
No, he bowled 4 overs in the semi.
He's about to bowl now.
Yeah, he bowled 4 overs in the semi, and he had a very quick chat to me at the end, and he was hoping he wasn't to be involved in this at all. He said, "Oh, no, I'm done." But you're not done.
He'd be trying to make up for his golden duck in the first game, though.
Yeah, possibly.
As he's probably saying, throw me the ball.
Well, his arm's about to be rolled over, Justin.
I think Stewart might actually try to attack here.
I'll tell you what, though, Cartledge will change his pace a little bit. He won't bowl anything short. Well, I imagine he won't try and bowl anything short. He'll try and jam the ball in. And looking at the field now, as Lockie is trying to work it out with Cartledge, I reckon he's, well, if you look at it, I reckon he's missing a little bit of a trick here.
I'm hoping there's some sunscreen on that cranium of Cartledge. It's very bright at the moment.
It is shining off, but that's okay. We all have issues with the hair at some stage.
And how good is that?
Well, come the man, cometh the bald scone.
Yes.
And he's done it. And I tell you what, I didn't expect that. It was in the slot for Rice. The field was there for him to hit. There was a big gap out there. They nearly gave it to him, said, you have a go. He's bowled it full, and he's just missed it.
It was a half volley too.
Yeah, no, that was a genuine half volley and a huge wicket.
Here comes Richard Graham.
So Graham had a bit of a go in the last game. What a massive wicket that is. So Heron and Graham at the crease. Both players had a role in the earlier semi-final. Heron's probably got a little longer to get in, but Graham batted for a while without really get going. He whacked a couple of boundaries late in his innings, but he had Rice at the other end doing his thing, and now Rice is out.
One thing, though, that dismissal has brought a calm over the crowd.
Yeah, that'll be
gone very quiet.
I think it's how FX Mike's not working at the moment. There we go. The crowd is back and going again. Not sure of the people at home. So Rice 34 for him off 25 deliveries. You're right, Chris. He was a bit more settled. 3 boundaries and 2 went over the rope. And at the moment, there's been only 2 sixes in this inning so far. They're on to 94. They're in the 15th over. Cartledge putting his fingers across that one, and lots of applause.
Yeah, well done by Chris Short there behind the stumps.
He took a while to get up as well, didn't he?
Taking the gloves, I think, for the first time this year.
No, yeah, second time apparently, I've heard, yeah. And so Little usually keeps, I think, doesn't he? He's got a little damaged finger at the moment. So, yeah, he's actually been more than excellent behind the stumps. He's going to get another go here. And the umpire, Doran, signalling a wide as the wind still just flickering across the ground here. There's quite a strong little zephyr that's running around. I feel like it's changed direction a little bit, though. Well, 5 overs left. They need to keep it going, don't they?
They've got to start going.
Well, they need, if you get 10 and over from here, it only gets to shy of 150. And we think that's not enough. We did see in that last semi, 150 is probably enough, but with this strong batting lineup, but that's a full toss.
I think that's a mishit, yeah.
Fortunately, he's mishit it, hasn't he? He's found the fielder.
Yeah, I think even at this stage, they're going to need at least 140. The power that Old Beach have with the Willow, at the top of the order, you got Jay Clay, Rhett Lockyer, even Denton.
Yeah, Denton in the first
Syed,
game.
Islam. These guys, and even Cartledge bowling now, these guys have got monster amounts of power. Got fielded by Little there on the boundary.
Yeah, he was pretty heavily involved in the first game. He's been a bit quiet. He hasn't had to do a lot. And he got around to his left-hand side and neatly picked the ball up, and that's the end of the over. So 5 overs left. 96 on the board. It's Heron and Graham at the crease. Cartledge, O'Brien potentially. Denton might have one left.
Looks like he's going to bowl this over.
Clay as well. Could be bowling a few more to finish off, but it's even Stevens to a certain extent. Potentially they're 10, maybe 15 runs behind if they can get a move on, but they have lost the big wicket of Rice. a couple of overs ago, which I think hurt. But it's Jared Denton to continue. He's going to bowl round the wicket to the left-handed Heron. So he's going to be trying to angle it in. Don't mind this strategy, but he does get a single. Trying to angle it into the left-hander. And the challenge for Heron is, do you reckon he'll try and hit the leg? I feel like it's not his game.
I think you're probably from third man through to about cover.
Here we go. Backward point.
But they've got that sweeper out there to protect that.
I think they've got a really good set field at the moment. This has been some excellent captaincy from Ratlock. They've never really let Rice get going, and obviously he's now not him. And there's been a couple of nice boundaries from Rowan Heron, but they've predominantly kept him quiet as well as the other left-hander comes in.
For both left-handers, if they want to score a boundary, they've got to go across off stump and hit over the leg side.
Well, there is
a deep, fine leg, and that's it.
There is an opportunity to go down the ground, so it's not a bad spot to hit straight down the ground.
Very short.
Yeah, long off, long on, an arc back at the moment, so there's space behind them. And that's been angled a little further out, but little in the action again. So they can maybe run down the wicket, try and get a half volley, or create the ball into a half volley, or there's the potential just to try and slap it.
Yeah, I
try
don't
and
think
get it
they're
down.
going to be keen to come down the track to Gerard Denton, though.
No, he's not bowling his quickest, but he's certainly got enough heat still. And he's got a bouncer. And that's the thing, I think, knowing that he has that bouncer probably keeps you in your crease.
Definitely. Bowling very well, only singles at this stage of the innings.
Well, a great spell from the veteran, Jared Denton. 4 overs for him. And the question is going to be who's going to come in from this northern end of the ground to finish this one off with 4 overs to go. And runs needed here for New Norfolk to get something competitive for Old Beach to chase down. But I've certainly got something in the okay area. And it is a grand final, isn't it, Chris? So, you know, scores can be low and you can still hold on.
Runs on the board's pressure.
Absolutely.
Doesn't matter. And if they bowl really well, so they've kept Wellington to a modest score. They could probably do the same to Old Beach. Can Old Beach do the same as they did in the first game?
Yeah, well, absolutely. Potentially they can. It's critical to get wickets early, I think, against Old Beach with their top order. See, the key is how do you control Ratlock here? Well, you get him out for a start, but if you can't get him out, the game could disappear very quickly. As Cartledge, the veteran. Now that's neat. Well, that'll release a little bit of tension that's been building up for around about 10 minutes. And flicked around the corner. And there is an opportunity deep backward throughout these games. We'll see on the replay. Graham just turned that one around. It was a neat shot. There was a fielder inside the circle, but it was away from him and away for 4.
I think the batsman has the confidence in their ability. They can manipulate where they're going to hit the ball. You know the ball's going to bounce at a certain height on synthetic. You don't have to worry about it moving off the seam, especially with the ball how it is now. It's probably old, it's damaged. It's not going to do anything through the air as well. So if you can trust yourself to get down and, you know, flip over the top of the butt fielders.
So you can predict things, can't you? There's certain things you can predict.
Yeah, you see players like Brett Lockyer, they'll do this. Jay Clay will do it when he'll go hard. These other guys, like Wayne Corral, we mentioned him earlier. These sort of guys, they manipulate where the ball's going to go. They decide.
Well, that's not manipulated, that's just tonked.
It's at the top of the fence.
Well, it only just touched the very top and a 6, and a much needed one. And Graham coming out of his shell with a flick around the corner and then a brutal swashbuckling shot to leg. He might go again.
That was a replay.
Oh, it is too.
That was a great shot, that.
How good's that?
I enjoyed that.
Well, now he is going to go again.
He's going straight in. Oh.
Hope that's not a replay. So Cartledge had to change his mind here. There's no fielder out. There's still one fielder outside on the offside, and there's no indication that Graham is going to go anywhere near that deep cover point fielder. He's trying to hit everything to the leg side, and some success. And
that's a good pickup.
that is the best of the lot, but great fielding down there. He sweetly timed that but it has been cut off.
Is that Denton down there?
Yeah, it may have well have been. So back end of this grand final, and we're starting to see some fireworks.
That's
from,
a good shot straight down the ground.
Yeah, now Heron into the action. You're right, it was a cracking shot, and that's a spot to find it. Hit it straight back to where it came from.
Very expensive over by Cartledge here.
Was it worth Cartledge? Maybe O'Brien could have, if Cartledge got the wicket, a lot of pressure on him, O'Brien maybe. And I suppose you roll the dice, don't you?
Yeah.
It's hard to make those without a crystal ball.
Not many runs off that over neither. But this one has made up for it. He's gone again.
Well, it's high.
That's over.
It's very high.
Let's hit the ute.
And that is handsome. That's very much
Running over the street.
a Denzel Washington, apparently the most handsome man in the world in the 2000s. The most symmetrical face. And that was a very handsome cricket shot. It was a bit of a slog, but it came off the bat with tremendous force. And that chap there with the ute didn't even bother slowing up. He's gone, it's not going to hurt me. White cricket ball, well, it might do if it's going with that much force.
And here comes Davin Waldridge on.
Right, so we're waiting for something. It's going to be Waldridge, not O'Brien, from this northern end of the ground.
Now, Davin bowls induckers to right-handers and across left-handers, so we're interested to see how this works out. You'd probably want to have a 45 on the offside.
Okay.
Behind square, but
let's have a little bit of a squizzy out of the van here.
he's saying that the way both batsmen are hitting, we could be in danger straight.
Yeah, I still reckon straight's not a bad option. There's some space backward of square. Is he going to put another fielder out there? So he's moving one of those fielders further along here to deep mid-wicket, quite straight. There's some two players outside on the offside protecting. And now he's going around and counting his field. Now he's got that mid-wicket. That's a better field. I think he's got this one spot on. So he can bowl relatively straight, can also bowl back of a length with three players on leg. And not a bad start.
It's very lucky to get away with that, short outside off stump.
Just no pace on it, I don't think, was there?
You've got to make the pace.
Yeah.
But these guys, they're big units.
So a couple of dots. Dots are delicious at this time of the innings.
You have only 16 balls left now. If you want to make the most out of every delivery you do get.
We don't, there's two dots in a row. It just puts more pressure in it. Does it maybe incline you to play an even more riskier shot?
Maybe they think they've got enough runs.
Well, that'll go.
That's a good shot.
Yeah, that's good. And that was too straight. And got underneath it and swung it around to backward square. There's such a fine line at the moment. He's found some good nick at the moment, hasn't he?
Batting really well. I think Darren needs to be a bit fuller. Even at that just sort of a length being that slow, it gives you time to pop up and the batsman to adjust where they want to hit it.
Well, we'd look long on now. He can actually bowl a little straighter. It's just he's got the two players at mid-wicket, mid-ish wicket. Now the third player is going to go back. So there is now four players on the leg, all on the fence, which means long off has to come up. So this will be really intriguing. Will he take it on? Well, he's hit it to leg, so that's not a bad result. I reckon if he was really a gambling man, he might have tried to hit that straight down the ground over long off's head. Well, I hope you're enjoying all the action here on Duff TV. Aaron Peach Roberts, Chris Hobson in here in the commentary Duffette van. Martin Duffy blowing around on top of the scissor lift. We've got the little Duffette Jack doing the scoring and Jero on the pots and pans.
That's coming to us.
Or is it?
Not enough.
Islam takes the catch. And it did look like it was coming. And I was about to jump out and have one as well. Not the case. The wicket down. And Graham was hitting. He was hitting well. And that's a handy blow.
Yeah, I think Heron just didn't get enough of that one.
He'd be disappointed because we were saying hit it straight, and that's where he hit it, but he didn't quite time it. So Rowan Heron on his way. And coming out the back is Kemmler. He was okay, and there's a catch. Comfortably taken. We've seen a few misjudged in the outfield today due to the wind and maybe just some mistiming. Bit of handy innings from Rowan Heron there. So we've just got over 2 overs left. In Norfolk, 128. They're 6 down. And Kemmler just coming into the crease. And exiting was Rowan Heron.
Just 24 off 22 balls. So nearly just a runner ball. If Richard Graham can keep going here and keep
he's the one, isn't he, Chris? Yeah.
He's the key. He's on strike now.
So the batter's crossed on that whack from Rowan Heron.
Blake Kemmler just needs to get Richard Graham on strike.
Agreed. 12 balls left. Graham's the man that can get this score up to 150. And the players are going to try and stop it. I wonder if Cartledge has got another over in him. I feel like they may take him off, although is he jogging in there? No, he's not. He's jogging past, so...
Shade Clay, by the look of it.
It's a tough one. This happened in the last... I should say this happened in the first game, where a couple of the bowlers... Yeah, it's Clay, who had to come on and bowl right at the end. But that's T20 cricket, isn't it? Sometimes you just got to come on and bowl 1 or 2 overs at the very end, and you've got to perform straight away. And it's not an easy task at any stage. But Jade Clay...
Just have to be ready. It's the same as the batsman like Blake coming out now. He needs to get Richard on strike. If he can't get Richard on strike, then Blake's got to be taking the mantle of the attacking shots in those last 12 balls.
Has he got those attacking shots?
Oh, I don't think he has, compared to Dickie.
Yep.
But time might tell. He might hit him straight over the top of cow corner. Now, you're nothing to lose. You're 5 wickets down.
Yeah, that's right.
If you hit to the end, they cross. You've got Dickie on strike. So it might be a free hit for him here.
Well, didn't get that one out of the middle of the bat, and it's only just got over the circle and a single.
Very effective for what he needed to do there.
Well, you're right. He had
got
to.
The single.
He wasn't trying to hit a single. He's trying to hit a 6, but he mistimed it so badly. That ended up being a single. So Graham now on strike. So the field changes for Graham. They'll try and protect that leg side field.
He may need to seek advice from a chiropractor. His back was thrown out that much by that shot.
Yeah, it was an awkward result, wasn't it? So there's 3 players deep on the leg. And that's nicely angled in. So they're going with that angle round the wicket.
Great bowling by Clay there. Matty O'Brien in the action again.
He's been fantastic at the field, hasn't he? We've got a...
I'm surprised he hasn't bowled more.
Yeah, I thought he was quite more than serviceable in the previous game. That's a good spot to hit it from Kemmler. Some work to be done, and that is done. So they should get a second.
Good running there.
Both players are just sucking in the oxygen at the moment as they're trying their best to get this to close to 150. It's going to have to take some lusty blows. 20 more runs just over to get it to 150. And we think that's a little below par still, but certainly defendable in a grand final. Is that through? No. So now Graham's on strike again. Round the wicket from Clay.
But he has to find the boundary in these last 2 balls.
Well, he's got a deep cover. I don't think he's going to try and hit there. I think he's going to, and they've got a bit of coverage long as well, so, or straight now. Fine leg comes up. Would he try the ramp?
I don't think he will.
I feel he may not have
He'll
that.
back his power.
That's not bad. It's probably not going to get... No, it is going to get there. I take it back. Yes, it was a great shot, Chris. And it's a boundary.
You don't need a finesse when you've got power like Dickie has there.
Stand still and whack, isn't it? Like, just pick your spots and have confidence that you're going to get it. We'll see on the replay.
He kept his head still and everything was still in that execution of that shot. And if you're going to do that, he probably wishes it got a bit higher and went for 6.
Yeah, no doubt. Maybe
that could be this ball.
Well, he's having a beaut little innings at the moment, Graham. A little bit of extra pace there, and they're going to get through for a single in the end.
It's a great result for the Red Caps there.
Yeah, my word it is. And they get the single, so they cross over 1 over left, 13 shy of 150.
I think they'll get 150. Maybe
Well, if
more.
Graham keeps swinging,
That's very defendable.
is Waldridge going to bowl the last? 5 runs off his first over.
You'd have to give it to him. I'm surprised
Yeah, no, he's got the ball.
Overs.
Yeah, you might be right. I might just have a little squiz, see how many overs he's been bowling so far. But yeah, Waldridge with the last 6 deliveries, so a little bit of pressure on him. There's the new Norfolk players. The next batter about to come in. He'll be a little nervous, I imagine. You don't really want to come in at this stage. 6 balls to go, you're kind of on a hiding to nothing. And Graham on strike, which is exactly what New Norfolk want. There is a lot of fielders on the leg. We can see 3 close to us here from the commentary position on the leg side. So he's going to bowl outside off. And there's that little bit of protection. It's a good field at the moment. So there's a deep point. And most importantly, Chris, he's off strike for Old Beach.
What's Blake going to do here?
Well, do you reckon he'd sensibly knock a single, wouldn't it?
I think he'll try and throw his back out again.
Okay, let's see what he's
I'm
going to do.
pick it. He'll throw his back out.
I'll go he's going to try and knock a single. But it could end up happening. Both could happen, couldn't it? Maybe I'm hearing on that one. It could end up.
I think he's going to look towards cow corner, over mid-wicket.
Well, there is a bit of space there. If he can get it very square. Space behind there too. Well, it's not the best delivery, but it just dropped on in the end. And they're going to go 2, so it's a mild surprise for me. Every run counts, but I'd like to see Graham on strike. You've had a choice for the last 3 balls, Chris. You'd want Graham instead of Kemmler, wouldn't you?
Yes, I'd take that every day of the week.
So not a bad result, that too. Now that's a small gap out there, and a brilliant catch. Stunning hands.
Denton.
And Denton diving forward, taking a screamer.
I'm 42 and I could get nowhere near that to catch that. And he's 44.
And I was watching it as it ran. We didn't have the best angle. In reality, we weren't behind it, but that wasn't a big gap. But he had to make some ground to his right, and then at the last minute, he had to dive forward, and we'll see the replay. Stunning catch from Jaron Denton, and a handy one. He's only got plenty of it, Kemmler.
He hit it well.
Look at that. That's a beauty. Example of a very good athlete in his full.
I mean, having quality people that can catch balls, both in the infield and the outfield, is all the difference in this sort of cricket.
I 100% agree. Good fielding. He's got the specs on as well.
He does, but Dickie's out there now on strike.
We've also got a dog on the field as well. Now it's being asked to exit. Now there's another one about to come on. Yes, another one's on the field. A different one. Deary me. What is going on? They're about to play. The 2 dogs are about to have a little play. We're trying to watch the cricket action at the moment.
Yeah, you only allow 5 fielders out.
There they are.
7.
Get them off. Oh.
Nice looking dog though.
Yeah. A couple of enthusiastic dogs still on the ground. Yeah. They're still waiting. Where's the owner? Here she comes. Those dogs on a lead.
And shuts the gate. We're ready to go for the sheep trials now.
Trying to round up a cricket ball. Waldridge. That's a neat shot, but
went like a rocket.
It did, with tremendous power off the bat, but only a single.
Brings Sam Hoggett on strike.
So Hoggett was at the top of the order in the first, but found himself down towards the middle bottom for this second game.
So he can't hit the ball though.
So you reckon he's just going to wind up and swing? 142.
Nothing to lose.
Absolutely. And that one, the pace was taken off it. I don't reckon he could bowl it any slower. Completely took everything off that one. Nearly at the end of this first innings, we do have a competitive score here for New Norfolk. They got into the 140s. Can they find the fence again?
Oh, he's missed 2 balls in a row.
Well, that is it. Innings done. 1-4-2 is the score.
Old Beach have bowled well there to keep him to that.
What do you reckon, Chris? Happy with that if you were an Old Beach supporter?
If you're Old Beach, you're wrapped. I think Brett, being captain, would be absolutely wrapped with his bowlers there and fielders. They fielded really well. Apart from that one little glimpse there with Tommy Blackwell, apart from it's virtually a perfect fielding performance. Well, Dickie Graham batted really well, and Stewie Rice. So it's going to come down to how well New Norfolk can bowl. If they can bowl really well and put pressure on them and field really well, they'll put pressure on the Old Beach batsmen. And like Brett, they're human. He's going to feel pressure as well. It's a grand final. The runs are on the board. They've got to chase them down now.
Well, there it is, 142, so 143 for victory. Graham, a lovely innings from him. Some good shots for his 30, some contributions from Heron, and also 34. Rice was just starting to get going, and Aldridge managed to get him out with a neat catch from Islam. Bowling, Lockyer at the top, 4 overs, 1 for 31. Blackwell, 4 overs, 2 for 18. O'Brien just a 1 over, none for 9. Clay there at the end, 4 overs for him. Jared Denton, 4 overs. The most economical, 0 wickets in the column though, but 17 runs. That's nearly worth a couple of wickets. Cartledge was taken in his second over after having a really good first over. 2 overs, 1 for 27. And Waldridge at the end. Really good display from him. Couple of overs, and he didn't go for many. We're going to have some highlights, and then we'll be back here for the chase to take out who will be the victors in the SCA T20 Super Bash Festival of Cricket here at Old Beach. And we'll be back to you in about 10 minutes' time. Well, there's a first. Well, they did something right there in Old Beach. Thomas gets a wicket. And probably out of nowhere, really. Drew was trying to fling that one over cover. All he got was a top edge. Then new in, although in saying that, that's edged. And that's out.
Another catch to Matthew O'Brien.
So O'Brien's doing the work at short third man. He's taken a catch. And another wicket disappears. So the run rate's been just okay, on par. But a little bit of pace at the moment. And that's pretty pacey. Denton's going to have to do some work, and he does a wonderful job. And in fact, they only might have got one then.
Talk about
hits a wicket and probably doesn't bowl from a really high arm action. We'll just have a look at it here. It's a generally nice action, and that's nice. That's a big, monstrous 6.
Or is he just going to keep doing the journey like that, straight over cover?
Wow. Has it
one bounce
been kept? No, it's found it. It's quite an extraordinary cricket shot. That went high in the air, so it lost a little bit of potential distance in it.
I thought Matt O'Brien got plenty of dirt on the players. All good though. I'd never say a bad word about
No,
a player.
I'm sure you wouldn't. Now that's in the air. And a disappointment. Wishart's is out.
That was a terrible shot.
Well, you heard it here first from Chris Hobson. It wasn't the best. And we're talking about 44, so, you know, he's obviously been keeping a nick with his boxing exploits. Lockyer, another flatter one, a big, loud, aggressive appeal.
Just going down leg beams and just milk that last single off the over to get a shot at the next over. Hello to Ben too, if you're watching.
I'm sure Ben is watching. Loves his cricket.
That's a great shot off his legs.
Well, there you go. We're going to look forward to that one, and all it is the flick away for 4.
Hello to Squizzy Taylor there.
Squizzy Taylor, g'day Squizzy. There he is. G'day Squizzy. Oh, there we go. That was a wide, surely.
That's 10 wides.
it's a double wide.
He didn't.
I'm not going to try and take you on.
If you're a red cap supporter, you would be hoping, unless he does that.
No, well, it's going over the fingertips and 4. We've seen.
I don't think he got to the boundary.
That didn't. We've seen quite a few of those today where it's gone over and the fielders misjudged it to either come into the
these into the houses.
I think I agree. I think he'll have a crack, won't he? Maybe straight there.
Or square.
And there's not a big gap out there on that deep mid-wicket fence. And he's found a gap of probably 15, 20 metres. That's a cracking battle at the moment.
He's got to stay there.
Now he's gone.
That's over again.
That's a big one. It's bigger than the last. Clears the fence.
Amazing.
I have stopped there a few times on my journeys up to the West Coast.
That's a good shot.
Well, Heron's played 2 nice shots now.
That's very bright at the moment.
It is shining off, but that's okay. We all have issues with the hair at some stage.
And how good is that?
Well, come the man, cometh the bald scone.
Yes.
And he's done it. Don't get him out. The game could disappear very quickly as Cartledge, the veteran,
That's a
Now
good
that's
pickup.
neat. Well, that'll release a little bit of tension out. That's been building up for around about 10 minutes.
These other guys, like Wayne Corral, mentioned him earlier. These sort of guys, they manipulate where the ball's going to go. They decide.
Well, that's not manipulated. That's just tonked.
So at the top of the fence.
Well, it only just touched the very top and a 6, and a much needed one. So back end of this grand final, and we're starting to see some fireworks.
That's a good shot straight down the ground.
Yeah, now Heron into the action. You're right, it was a cracking shot. Those without a crystal ball.
Not many runs off that over neither. But this one has made up for it. He's gone again.
Well, it's high.
That's over.
It's very high.
That's hit the ute.
And that is handsome. More riskier shot.
Maybe they think they've got enough runs.
Well, that'll go.
That's a good shot.
Yeah, that's good. And on the pots and pans.
That's coming to us.
Or is it?
No, not enough.
Islam takes the catch. And it did look like it was coming. And I was about to jump out and have one as well. Not the case. The wicket down. And Graham comes up. Would he try the ramp?
I don't think he will.
I fear he may not have
He'll
that.
back his power.
That's not bad. It's probably not going to get... No, it is going to get there. I take it back. Yes, it was a great shot, Chris. And it's a boundary.
You don't need it.
Now that's a small gap out there. And a brilliant catch. Stunning hands.
Denton.
And Denton diving forward, taking a screamer.
I'm 42 and I could get nowhere near that to catch that. And he's 44.
Well, that is it. Innings done. 1-4-2 is the score.
Old Beach have bowled well there to keep him to that.
What do you reckon, Chris? Happy with that if you were an Old Beach supporter?
If you're Old Beach, you're wrapped. I think Brett, being captain, would be absolutely wrapped with his bowlers there and fielders. They fielded really well. Apart from the one little glimpse there with Tommy Blackwell, apart from his virtually a perfect fielding performance. Dickie Graham batted really well.
Second innings time in the grand final. You're here on Duff TV. It's SCA Festival of Crickets. Aaron Peach Robertson, Chris Hobson in here in the commentary position as the first ball of this second innings at a chase. It's actually 143 is the chase. We'll get that one right on the screen. So what's the strategy, Chris, going in here for Old Beach with the bat?
Probably hard to tell. They're not going to change the way they play, both Lockyer and Clay. Clay goes hard. He's like the free licence at the top. With Stewie Rice taking the new ball, taking the pace off it and angling in. Be interesting. You probably see if Jade doesn't cover his stumps, it's going to go straight for him. Does like to go hard very early. So we'll see how this works out.
It was reasonably controlled in the first game we saw early, but then both players really went in, got stuck into their business. Well, there you go.
There you go.
Unbelievable. That is crazy. And that is really close to a couple of young lads over there. It's missed them. And
bounced up into the railing.
It nearly went in through the door. That was unreal. And they're pretty cruisy about it as well. Well, what a start.
Enjoy some nice refreshments up there at top.
Yeah, so Clay away. Rice. So intent early. Just for a moment, Lockie was a little slow. That is out. Well, Clay hesitated, Lockyer hesitated, and just like the second semi-final, New Norfolk lost a wicket early with a run out, and a huge moment as Rhett Lockyer heads off the field. Run out.
Wow.
Here we go. Let's look at the hesitation here. So there's a shot. Hesitation. Yep, there it is. And clearly, he didn't think he was a chance.
Oh, he's out by a long way.
And he didn't even bother grounding his bat. So a massive moment in the grand final. Just what New Norfolk wanted. And a big dagger into Old Beach.
The red colours will be up and about now.
So Denton comes out to bat now.
There was no real need to take that single. He's just deposited the ball into the grandstand.
I just see one more time at the end of the over, that replay of that one. It's Denton's first ball, and once again Clay's looking for a single as the wind's just picked up again.
I think Jade's got something in his boots. He's got to keep running.
Hyperactive.
Something going on there.
So Denton finishes with a defensive push. And a wicket falls in the first over here. Let's see this replay of the run out. So there is the hesitation.
Jade went.
Jade went, and Lockie at no stage did he say no. He needed to probably call it pretty early. We don't have a wide angle on the throw and exactly where the ball went, but imagine it went straight to the fielder's hand. And
this is probably a good idea from New Norfolk, having two slow bowlers take the new ball to take the pace right off the ball.
So Wishart, I think he opened up with one over in the semi-final. He's now going to open up again. As we've got we did have a long off, but we're going to go back onto just a mid-on, or mid-off. Got a few more gentlemen just enjoying themselves at the moment as well. Round to our right-hand side, who are having some fun.
That's what cricket's all about in the country.
Yeah, absolutely.
So apparently you can't get married twice.
Well, tell that to people. Wishart. Side straight away. He's just going to try and create some angle across the right-handers off stump. There is a bit of protection on the leg, so one of the fielders that could be outside the circle in the first 6 overs. And geez, we've seen a few there. That's nicked and 4. There's a deep mid-wicket. And that actually is the only fielder outside the ring, or is there a deep long on as well? Though there is deep long on too. But unfortunately, that was a nick. No catcher in that position.
It's a wonder he doesn't have Stewie Rice there, who's on that 45 there at third man, a bit more finer. So if you're going to bowl across him and encourage Jade to hit on the leg side, you sort of need that cover for that shot that just happened then.
Well, that
could be a no ball.
Very high. What's the call from Doran?
Doran's still asleep there. I'm sorry, he's not asleep there. He's sitting there enjoying the cricket.
Well, I had a very brief chat to him just before, and they were pretty reserved. And now Trying to keep calm as
cracking
that's
shot.
a brilliant execution.
I suppose now tomorrow at the umpire's Christmas party, I'll have to buy Doran a drink for calling him asleep there at the square leg.
Is there something on tomorrow? Is there,
Yeah,
Chris?
all of us getting together to have a few frothies at our sponsors, the Wagon and Horses.
Ah, right. Who are the loose cannons?
Probably me.
Probably yourself. Okay. Oh, well, we've given
I'll take top notch at that one.
You've given plenty of ammunition today out to others, so you may get some fired back at you as Wishart. And that's gone to the same spot as only moments ago. So a repeat with a forceful blow out to backward square.
Big strong believer, if you're going to dish it, you've got to be able to take it. If not, it'll be a very boring world out there.
Well, this continues. It could be a very boring game if boundaries keep getting pummeled out to that leg side. So end of the second, they're going at 10. They don't need that. 1-4-3 is the score. We'll get that one fixed in a minute. I'm getting instructions from Duff via Messi. It's like a secret squirrel business going on here, via his son, who then writes them down in fairly average handwriting. He's only grade 10 in Taroona High School, and then gets passed to me. So sorry, Duff. I don't completely agree with you. So what's Denton's ploy here, Chris? Is he going to just play genuine cricket shots, or may he try and keep the momentum that's Clay started?
Being the experienced player he is, you'd expect him to get Clay on strike as much as he can. Especially even the inner circle fielders, they seem to be very deep, like on the circle.
They're not charging in either, which is pretty common in T20 cricket, but does provide a single. Well, I think we know what Clay's up to.
Jade only has one way. He loves his cricket.
Well, he batted well in the first game, which was many hours ago this morning. He, Denton and Lockyer got Old Beach off to a rollicking start, and he's trying to do the same here again. So there's a little bit of protection that leg side. Is it, would he take on the sweep? We saw in the last over he hit 2 across the line, but is he prepared to do that, do you think, against?
I think he will. And I don't think where the fielder is, he won't worry about it. He'll back himself to hit him over the top. As you've seen in the first over when he hit it over into the people up at the top there enjoying some refreshments.
Yeah, well, that was second ball or first ball he faced. It was a classic cricket shot. Might have been his first. It was an audacious early cricket shot, regardless.
Then his second ball, he chucked red on the barbecue.
Yeah, unfortunately, if that is the case, there was a lack of communication. And it resulted in the star batter back in the sheds without making any contribution. Now he's got down the ground, but there's a fielder. That's a massive blow. Is that Drew down there taking the catch? And a lot of New Norfolk players getting around each other, celebrating the wicket of Clay, and Old Beach are 2 down.
You take that, give up 23 runs to get your 2 Master Blasters out.
Sat in the air too, and unlike some of the other fielders, he didn't come in. He stood there, judged it better, and a comfortable catch. Clay is gone. And some decisions now to be made with Denton, how he goes about this and what his rhythm is for his next 4 or 5 overs.
Could totally change now.
So Islam coming out to bat now.
Could be saying he goes hard, so Denton might still play that supportive role.
Well, he didn't have much.
Through the innings.
Didn't have much of an opportunity in the first game. He was out relatively early on and got a couple. So he's have to maybe just settle down for a bit. As Banks Smith will come in from the northern end of the ground. Bowled some good overs in his spell early on, but he's also a player that potentially he can attack as another chip packet goes across the ground.
Well fielded there by Blake and behind the stumps.
Yeah, he did make a massive effort, did he?
I'll let it go to the boundary.
Maybe he knew it was going to blow away eventually. It's going down. Yeah, it's not. There we go.
I'll kick it instead.
Oh, there. Oh, he's not happy. He can't. I can't stop a chip packet. How am I going to stop a cricket ball?
Yeah, don't worry, mate. They've got it on TV too. Oh, very gentle.
You know what was Jen? He stretched his back as well. He didn't even really run through the crease or even jump at the crease. He's got a little bit more energy than that, I would have thought.
He's not the bowler he used to be. Whether that's injuries or maybe he's got more muscles and he can't get through.
His biceps,
stride.
deltoids are getting in the way, maybe.
The guns are out. He'd love to have the guns out.
Well, he's got a role here to play at the moment. I reckon it's to keep things quiet as the game kind of evolves again, and their innings from Old Beach starts to work its way and gets some momentum again. The 2 wickets lost has sort of pulled them back a little bit, and I'll be thinking, well, what's our role here? What's my role as a player? Islam and Denton in.
Does Islam just go hard, or does he actually build into the innings?
Maybe he's got to display his natural game.
Might not get a chance.
Well, look at the celebration from Banks Smith. His muscles are definitely up.
They are bulging
and the forehead was about to pop and explode. That was a hell of an appeal, and he nearly lost his energy too, as finally Westaway rose his right arm. And Islam gone for a duck. Let's see it.
Get a good look at it here.
Well, it's hard to tell, but it's on the 4. Look at the appeal from Banks Smith. And then he gets down even lower. And a 2-hand, the Richard Hadley plead. And then the pump.
Eyes are popping out of his head. He's enjoyed that.
No, we enjoyed it too here on Duff TV. And a really big moment now as Matty O'Brien out to bat. So Denton O'Brien, 2 experienced and competent players at the crease.
Pressure is definitely on Old Beach here.
Well, it's fallen away, hasn't it? The energy was sucked out of them when that Rhett Lockyer run out occurred in the first over. And even though there were some nice shots before then from Clay, maybe the players in the shed have just lost a little bit of the energy seeing their star player leave the field run out.
They do bat deep, so if Denton can actually control this innings, they're still in with a chance.
Well, and the score never got away from them when they were fielding as well, so there's still a chance. You're dead right. And just a steady partnership here, and in many ways, New Norfolk had a similar sort of flow to their innings. Had a couple of wickets lost at the top. They had to steady again. And had to try and control things, and then they had Rice come in and just got the momentum coming back their way. But then they kind of lost it again at the back end of the innings. There's a lot of ebbs and flows in a game of T20 cricket.
Yeah, I think these guys can put on a partnership for, say, the next 10 overs with relatively low risks, still scoring at a good rate.
Well, they're going to hit boundaries, aren't they? Naturally, particularly Denton, he's going to naturally hit boundaries. He's got enough cricket shots. There's a predominantly offside field at the moment, so that's forcing Banks Smith to bowl wide outside off stump, and that's the end of a successful over. He got the LB, and Islam, who's had a pretty dark day with the bat, he's only contributed a couple of runs throughout his 2 innings, and he had an important role to play at 2 down. And at the moment, Old Beach just behind the 8 ball, 3 for 25. Rice has done a good job, hasn't he? He's kept things quiet.
Very quiet. It's probably been a good, who was it? Seb Wishart making this change, having him open the bowling.
Yeah, we didn't see too much of him with the ball in the first game.
Very wily character.
There's that little faster one. Once again, that infield is holding firm at the moment on that offside on both ends of the ground. We might just get, boys, we might just get that change. The score, 148, the target. We need to get that wound back to 143, if possible. Just so the fans out there know exactly the chase. So Brian and Denton to do the work here for Old Beach.
It's like just a holding pattern with a lot of wind.
Yeah, we're holding on to our hats at the moment as the wind rushes through again. And you're right, it's singles. And that offside field is snuck in a little bit too. So they're really cutting down the single, cutting down the angles. Going to make it hard and complicated in this chase. They're a fair way behind the 8 ball at the moment.
If Old Beach want to get some runs or some boundaries, they're going to have to take risks.
Do you try and loft that over? Or do you just go, I've got to wait for the right ball? Or is he going to get the ball at the moment? There is no space as Bank Smith takes his hat off. He'll bowl the next over.
I think with no deep cover, you've got to back yourself. So once you get it over the infield, it is 4 runs. I would say they've lost 3 wickets very quickly. The run rate's starting to come back now to the overs.
I don't know who owns that house up there. It's an absolute walloper. It's huge.
It's like a Lego one.
Yeah. There's a whole variety of houses over there.
There's my house up on the hill.
Oh, you're up there, are you? Would you know the owners of that massive house? I want to know, do they have 20 people in their family, or they've just got the money to build a massive house?
Like a Lego land set up. Like blocks everywhere.
So you're spying on the cricket usually when you're maybe even spying on training if you're up in the house there on the hill overlooking the ground?
No, I can't quite see the ground.
All right. It's probably a good thing by the sound of it.
Yes. Well, I actually spend more time down in the club rooms than I do up on the hill. Probably the partner doesn't like it too much.
Well, might have to put a short leash on you at the moment. But we're seeing it. The action is Denton on strike as another mistimed shot onto the offside results in another dot ball.
Old Beach definitely don't want to get this run rate, get away from them.
Yeah, I mean, 10's gettable, but it feels like it's not a game where 10's going to be easy in a grand final.
Yep. And for 15 overs, it's
a long run.
Struggle.
It's a long run out, isn't it? You know, the helicopter just travelling over the venue here. We've had a few today. Maybe having a sticky beat to see any fires around. It's been quite windy and it's very dry through the middle of Tasmania. There's Denton is trying to maybe get rid of the dry spell here and get a 6, or at least a boundary. Well, he goes down the ground and he finds it right on cue. Well, we are sometimes the curse, but other times we are the motivator. And Jared Denton finds the fence with a wonderful lofted off drive.
That's what he needs to do, put the pressure back on the Norfolk fielders and the bowlers.
But look at this, he changed
Great shot.
What Bank Smith was doing. He kept nice and still. Sometimes it's hard to charge a fast bowler. Bank Smith already had his head down. I like the rope here. It's come in about 1.5 meters as well. We can probably see it there on the screen. Yeah. Now he's playing the tin tack game, driving down the ground and then a little glide through the gully. So Bank Smith, another over gone for him. It is mostly controlled, just the one boundary off that over. Things are still in the favour of the bowling team at the moment. Some work to be done.
Now I think it's well and truly in the favour of the Red Caps here. It's at the end of the power play.
Yeah, that should be it.
They're under a run of ball. So they're now chasing balls.
Yeah, right, so the run rate's less than a 6 and over, so that's a struggle of a start here. So 142, we'll just recap it. Top scorer in the first innings for New Norfolk was Rice with a well-compiled 34. He was just starting to get going until he held out. Good little 24 from Heron and 25 from Graham. We enjoyed his innings. He faced 19 deliveries with 3 boundaries and a 6. And in the chase, only one player so far has really made it. Well, 2 players now, Denton in double figures, but prior to that, Clay made.
Oh, that's a good shot.
Now, is that going to make it? And that's
another catch.
So Denton gone. And another catch and another wicket to long on.
So the hopes of Old Beach gone as well as Denton walks off the ground.
And the head down for Denton and New Norfolk are right on top here in the grand final. With a full swing from Denton. He was trying to clear the fence and he couldn't clear Drew down there. A lot of celebrations going on. Game not done, but it's certainly becoming harder.
Scott Johnson coming out to join Matty O'Brien. He hit big too.
Yeah.
He's come with 100 in the lower grades over the last couple of weeks. So he's in form. So
it's a different scenario, isn't it?
It's very different.
Because he's got to come in and get the momentum going straight away. Where's his get-out shot then, Chris, do you think?
It could be anywhere. Depends where the bowler's going. He likes the cut shot. But I think the bowling is different now, actually, at a third grade.
You're not going to get too many loose bowls, and they're taking the pace off it. They're bowling it full.
They still just need a little partnership for the next 6 or 7 overs. And you've still got people like Justin Cartledge in the shed, who's a big, powerful hitter. If he can come out, and they need probably 10 and over for 6 or 7 overs, there's a chance Old Beach.
So you're saying just
themselves.
Scratch their way through to 12, maybe 13 overs, keep the wickets intact, maybe 6 or 7 and over, and try and have the hitters go. Is that the strategy?
Yeah. If they drop down to like 3 and 4 and over, they're going to struggle. So they've got to keep turning that strike over. The way New Norfolk are bowling and their field is set, they're strangling Old Beach.
They are strangling. So do they take a risk and go, well, this is where it's going to be one of the next 4 overs. We're going to win it or lose it now. We could get too far behind the 8 ball. And it's already 10 and over at the moment.
Well, this is Stewie Rice's last over, so do you see him out? Who they're going to bring on from the bottom end?
This feels like a really hittable bowler, doesn't he, Rice? He's done a really serviceable job. He's probably better than serviceable.
He's had a very good all-round game.
Yeah, he has at the moment.
And including the semi.
He's had a really good afternoon so far. And another over gone for him. So his 4 is done. He's picked up 2 wickets. And he's gone for less than 20. That is an outstanding statistic. Banks Smith looks like he will continue bowling here. So when he's into his 3rd over, he'll be happy with his day so far.
Bowling well.
But he is, and he's got a really nice rhythm going at the moment. And he's got a field which he can bowl to.
He's definitely got the award for the appeal of the day.
Unbelievable, wasn't it?
Very enjoyable.
What he could have. Well, he pulled a hamstring, he appealed that large.
Well, that vein at the top of his forehead was going to pop out.
It was going to explode out of that. He's got the neat haircut too. Well, they've had that 3rd man inside the circle for a bit, but they've got him in the right spot on that occasion because that was flying off the cricket bat. And just a single. So let's have a little sticky at the field at the moment for those that can't see it at home. So we've got 2 players in the lead. We've got a long on and also a deep mid wicket. They're both patrolling the leg side boundary. And I've only got the 1 player. We may have a 2nd player just go out in the offside. No, just the 1 at 3rd man. So just 3 players. So that's the advantage that New Norfolk had, that they keep players up inside the circle to prevent both the singles, but also to cut off some of those forceful shots. It's putting some pressure on them, Chris, isn't it? Making decisions. There are a few gaps. It's sort of saying, well, if you want to try and hit it over the top, go for it.
Yeah, they're giving them the invitation there. It's just that they're going to take that invitation.
Well, they're going to have to, otherwise the game could be over in the next 15 minutes.
Yeah, you don't want to peter it out and, bat your 20 overs because it's a grand final.
Yeah, you might as well leave early, have a beer with the opposition and enjoy your Christmas break.
Yeah, go down swinging.
At the moment, the indication is that they're just holding sway. the odd single. And it's allowing Banks-Smith pretty much just to get into a little groove here and bowl just outside off, relatively full. He feels confident that no one's going to try and take him on and swing across the line like we saw from Clay and earlier from Rice. It just means he can just cruise in, keep doing that. Nearly getting the edge.
So you're just trying to guide it. You know, back yourself.
There's not much value, is there, in that little guide? It's only a single.
That's it. So if you're going to take the risk, and if you miss-hit it or it moves off the crease or the pitch, it's going to get a nick straight through to Blake Kemmler. So, though after you miss that chip packet, he probably wouldn't take the ball.
Yeah, well, he's a lucky bit of confidence with the chip packet, but maybe he's okay with the Kookaburra.
Yeah, I'd back him in 100% to take a little straightforward catch like that.
So they're also rollicking through the overs at the moment. They're up to 8, 4 down, and they're still going less than run a ball. So there's some of the sponsors from the Red Caps. Thanks to all those sponsors out there, 911. Paulie's Pizza. Did you know that one, Chris?
I don't, but Paulie's Pizza has a great reputation in the Derwent Valley, having the best pizzas.
I'm just wondering, is it on the main drag there? I'll have to go past it one day.
Not sure whereabouts it is.
Well, we'll have to find out. And the Valley New Norfolk, we're not sure what that is. Is that a cafe? I don't think it's a cafe. Is it a little supermarket? The Valley New Norfolk. I'll have to just Google that one.
Here comes Josh Walsh on, replacing Stuart Rice. Very serviceable bowler. Very skiddy, so it's like a Jade Clay type.
It's been effective, hasn't it, so far? It's got, sort of throws himself at the crease, doesn't he, with that big leap. So Johnson and O'Brien, the two batters that need to try and get this one going in the favour. And a bit of pace taken off that one, and it dribbles out there to the man covering on the offside fence.
You'd probably like to see O'Brien there instead of hitting it to the fielder. You know, there's a big gap between point and, I suppose, probably deep long off. You know, hit it across over the infield. If you're bowling that short, Walsh is not quick, so it does set up.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, he bowled a wide just there, but he's not giving a lot of velocity on that ball, so you can potentially take a few risks, move around the crease a bit, try and manipulate it so it's more in a hitting zone for yourself because of his pace. You might not do that to Denton, but Walsh you potentially can.
But looking at it, they've got a good field set.
So Johnson just dropping the bat on that one with that little short back lift. So do you know much about Matty O'Brien? I haven't really seen him bat before.
Played a lot of cricket with Matthew. Very wily bowler. Very serviceable batsman. I suppose with the team Old Beach have at the moment, he's not going to bat any higher than probably 6. But probably doesn't have the power. The power's going to have to come from Scott Johnson.
Does Scott Johnson, at the moment, he's just sort of dropping it and moving it around?
I think he's giving himself some time to get in. Probably looking at the fact, you know, we've been 10 overs to go. They're still going to need 100 runs, so, you know, looking at still over 10 and over for a 10 over is a long time.
Yep.
Is he going to back himself in to get that sort of era? I don't know.
So New Norfolk on top at the moment, but not out of the game, Old Beach. This is the grand final. Funny things happen. Certain players are able to find that little bit extra. Maybe have 20 minutes of outstanding cricket. And maybe it's Johnson's afternoon. We're at 6:10, so the sun is starting to lose a little bit of heat, but still nice and sunny here at Old Beach.
It's a good late cut through the gap.
He managed to get through quite well, didn't it? The grass is quite short. It's starting to die. A few times I've thought the players look like they were about to slip over, so I wonder if they've got the studs on the bottom of the feet. That's a Walsh over done. 9 down and 100 away.
One thing I do notice, there are a lot of players out there that don't wear cricket shoes. And you see Rowan Rubencock, he's got his disco shoes on.
Yeah.
A lot of them wear it with no grip whatsoever, so you're going to not only slip on the pitch, but you're going to slip out in the green grass.
It's obviously a favourite, isn't it, to keep the sneakers happening?
Yeah. I'd hate to get it on the toe with him by a quick bowler though, because there's no protection. You're going to smash your toe. Looks like Josh Rowlands has taken over from Banksmith.
Well, they've left him for a little while. He opened up in the last game. So 100 runs needed off 11 overs. There it is, 100 off 66 balls. So just under 10. And there's a chance of the bowl
Direct
at the
hit.
keeper's end. And see a bit of strike there, wasn't he?
Could have had him, I think.
And Rowlands looks like that could have been a wicket. We'll try and squeeze another replay out of that. Here we go. Good job, Jarrow. Oh no,
Oh,
he's
out
not.
by a mile.
He's given up, hasn't he? Absolutely given up. Rowlands with that lopey approach. O'Brien on strike. Now and again, just gets it to come through a little quicker than you think. Nearly stops on the crease, doesn't he?
Has a little bit of skip on his back foot. Comes through. I think O'Brien there needs to decide what he's going to do, whether he's going to go hard or...
Is he indecisive at the moment, or is he...
He did on that last ball, look very indecisive.
Right, so maybe the plan of attack is just to hold this, keep it to 12, 13 overs, and then try and score a 10 and over for the last 7 or 8. And there's still a chance, but looking at the batters to come. Cartledge, Wooldridge, Short, Blackwell, Little. Which ones of those are going to find a boundary?
Cartledge. Even though he find the boundary, he will clear the boundary.
So do you reckon he's in next, or do they even hold him back a couple of more overs?
I don't know, we tend to go, do you put him in now at 10 and over? Or do you wait for the next week and it could be like 13 or 14?
Yeah, well, there's definitely a plan at the moment, isn't it? They're just knocking singles around, but the problem is there's quite a few dot balls in the middle of that as well. They do need the odd boundary, or certainly don't want a dot ball like that.
If I was Old Beach, I'd roll the dice and put Cartledge in next. Then at least gives him them extra couple of overs to, like, you know, get a feel for it, like a Stewie Rice innings. He can sort of get the feel for it, then go big when need be. He does have to go out there and go big off balls that he probably should be showing a bit more respect to.
Otherwise, they're going to be too far behind, aren't they,
Yep.
Chris? So it's going to be a big, big uphill battle for them. They'll be climbing a large mountain.
You see it in T20 cricket all over the world, where you've got your big hitters like an Andre Russell or something in the Premier League over in...
Well, he's actually asked for a... he's laying on his back there. Not interested. Rowlands wanders back. Everything's safe.
Like these big hitters where they've got the choice to go out at a certain time, but they keep them back. Then it's too much for them to do, and you can't, you know, put that sort of onus on that player.
Yeah, you've got to get it right, don't you? And it's really up to the players that are out there batting that. If they're not really getting it going, they take the risk and maybe they sacrifice a wicket to try and bring in a player that's potentially able to get them the momentum going.
You like to think the Old Beach have a plan on what they're going to do in this situation. Get to like 60 over the next 2 or 3 overs by 12 overs. Then leave, then go for it. Then if you get out, we've got Cartledge to come in. And then it gives him 8 overs or say 3 overs to have a little bit of a look. And then his last 4 overs, he can explode.
So Matty O'Brien on strike. And he's got 2 players contending on the leg side square and a long on as well. So outside off will be okay with a bit of protection. That's pretty much spot on. So he's got to bowl straight back of a length. Potentially stray a little bit leg side-ish due to those 3 fielders protecting it, but can't bowl short with this field. It will go the journey if he's on his money. Well, he's taken a risk. It's the first extravagant shot was seen for a little while, but it's only a single.
Yeah, I think we're going to have to see more of that over the next few overs, I think.
Well, he's got a couple of choices, really, at the moment. Johnson on strike, so he's got a really similar field. He can try and get it behind and do something with his body, go towards the offside, and that's just gone over the stumps. Wow. I'm surprised it didn't take it. And the bails are back on as well, so there's a little bit more to hit.
I just think being the ground so small, square on the leg side and straight, you don't really need to have to play them sort of shots.
No, I do agree with you. I think you can manipulate this, and maybe this game's not to try and find it, but is there an opportunity to get across, even bat on off stump, make him change, do something different, make the bowler older, but both the bowlers are just in a groove at the moment.
Yeah, it could come down to experience and not having that confidence to actually, you know, manipulate the bowler in where you want him to bowl it.
Once again, it's timed well, but there's protection there, so he's right on the money.
So you see the bowlers from both ends are just bowling in that channel, and Seb is just setting the field to where he wants them to bowl, and the batsman's not changing where he wants to hit it.
Well, that's straight down the ground. That might get a result. And that's 6. Well, there you go.
Maybe this is the turning point. If you're an Old Beach fan, you would definitely want this to be the turning point.
Well, you don't want to be too late. It's 11 overs gone, and there's a replay of the O'Brien shot. Powerful shot down the ground. And comfortably making it over the rope for a 6. Maybe the fireworks are just about to be lit. Rowlands to continue from the commentary end of the ground. Clubroom end, we've got ends of the ground here. As a local person, Chris?
We'll call it the Gary Fawkes Pavilion end.
Gary Fawkes.
And probably the skate park.
The skate park end. Doesn't sound very glamorous, does it? No. The skate park end. So Rowlands to Johnson. Johnson has 3 players that he'll have to contend with on the leg side that are protecting the fence. There's also a long on, so you can bowl fairly full with this field. Can't bowl too much outside off. And if it is, it has to be there around about middle and off, and that's squeezed out. So Johnson, maybe he needs to take a leaf out of O'Brien's book and just wind up. Yeah, just go, you know what, I'm going to try and get it over. I'm going to get it over that fielder.
Because he's known as a big hitter.
Well, there's a spot. Edge it past the keeper.
That's it. One thing it doesn't tell you in the scorebook, how you got your 4 runs.
No, absolutely. That's disappointing for the bowler, but that is T20 cricket. You don't have fielders, you don't have slippers in. You're all about trying to protect the boundary, and you don't have to protect it there.
Can't be too critical on Blake there, Neva, not like the chip packet.
No, that one was moving, wasn't it?
Yes.
Ah, it's a good response. He's on the money here at the moment, Rowlands. He's hasn't got anyone swinging at him, so you can imagine if Clay was out there, or Lockyer, some of the big hitters, he might have to change things up a bit, but neither of his batters are really trying to take too many risks. It's like those middle overs, isn't it? It's 50 over games, so it sort of just, it's knock the ball around, get singles, very few boundaries.
There's just nothing happening.
Frustration on the faces of both the batters at the moment. Rowlands is just working through and doing his thing, which is keeping the runs down. Only 1 boundary in this over, and that was a nick through the slip region.
Yeah, they've got to go. Scotty's got to go. He's got to join Matty O'Brien. You know, find them boundaries. If you can't, you know, throw your wicket away, get Cartledge in, or someone that's going to hit.
That'll provide a little bit of help, a little wide, and an extra delivery. So can they make that extra delivery count and get a boundary off it?
The way it's going, probably not.
Yeah, still less. Their run rate's actually dropped. It was close to a run a ball. Now it's quite a bit under a run a ball. Well, he's got it over the top. He took a risk, but guess what? It's only a single, and all that effort and some good fielding and a lot of risk in it, and only 1 run. So Rowland ends his 3rd. And it feels like Norfolk, who had the miraculous victory in the semi-final, which we talked about for a while in the history of the Southern Cricket Association. Very dramatic end and very exciting end, and heartbreak for Wellington and Drake, who had an opportunity to seal the match. And now Norfolk taking on the team that flew to victory early this morning.
And looking like they might be victors themselves.
Yeah, no, they can smell it at the moment. Can't quite taste it, but they can certainly smell it cooking away. 12 overs gone.
Hitting 84 runs, so we're 10 and over.
Yeah, nearly 2 a ball.
Looks like Johnson's starting to go hard now.
Oh, he's the one, isn't he? He looks like he's the most likely.
Now, Matty O'Brien been there for quite a few balls now. You got to sort of lift that tempo. You don't want to leave it all to the lower order batsmen.
I feel O'Brien is going to launch in this over. Walsh. There we go. Once again, they just keep finding those fielders in the deep. It's been the complete opposite to their first innings, where everything went into the gaps. Leaning on his bat, crouched down, and it's resulting in a single.
Maybe that ball's better to go straight down over the bowler's head.
I completely agree, and we've already seen one go down the ground. Hasn't been able to take it on again. So O'Brien, can he hit one straight?
It's like they're trying to go to that cow corner where they've got the fielders. You've got the boundary riders at square leg, mid-wicket, wide mid-wicket and mid-on.
Well, there we go. He said it straight to the fielder. Well, you called it. Chris Hobson here on Duff TV. Comfortable catch right into the mid-rift. And another wicket.
I think Cartlidge would have to go out now. And that was nearly game. Cartlidge off the mark with nearly a chop on there. Brings O'Brien back on strike. This is the game here. If Cartlidge gets out, she's all over. Apologies, there's Johnson. O'Brien out, over before. He's over the top 6 bits.
Wow, it's taken a tree out, and maybe a koala as well.
This is the partnership. If these guys can get going, 10 and over is not enough. But for 8 overs, that's a long time.
Well, he's finally nailed one. And he's been waiting a while, Johnson.
Maybe this is planned all along.
He's been, just bringing in a false sense of security. So Johnson with his first 6. And we've got Cartlidge and Johnson to do the job. And there was a big call when Cartlidge wanted out to bat. And I think a few people know at Old Beach that see them play, that this man is capable of some big, lusty blows, but he's got some work. He's got rollers to contend with, and straight away he's into his action, knocking it down the ground.
Yeah, there'll be no pushing singles here from Cartlidge. If they're singles, they're hit hard.
How long has he been playing for?
Oh, decades. Been around for years. Loves the game. Loves it as much as Speedway. He actually does both.
So that's
now.
his other love, is it?
Yeah, him and his son love the Speedway.
Yes, bowling ball.
Seen a few of those, haven't he? He's just staying inside the line of them, Johnson. He's trying to flick him back or nudge him down through third man. It's yet to really work for him.
And at best, you're going to get a single.
Yeah, and maybe even a chance to get an edge through to the keeper, and you're out. And your day's done, and your team's probably day is done as well.
He's starting to do the power game, so I don't know why he's doing the finessing. It's too much risk. Probably more risk than going over the top.
Yeah, you're right. He's got two mindsets at the moment. I don't think Cartledge is going to do that. He's going to attack. Johnson on 18. Roland strolls in. Seems like a long way. 70 to 143 in just over 7 overs, or just under 7 overs. It seems like a long, long way. So there's 3 players out now for Johnson. So all the players on the off are in the ring. Long off, who nearly got into the action. Once again, he's missed a length ball outside off stump. So the strategy he's using here, Johnson, isn't working. He needs to make an adaptation.
I think he's trying to look to hit over the cover area.
Yeah, I agree.
All on the circle. But he's just not getting his feet in the right. He's all too off balance when he's trying to hit it.
Well, there he goes. Gets it through the gap. Finally, success. And it was a long time coming. And maybe that's the confidence. And it wasn't trying to hit it over. It was just a genuine cover drive.
That's right, no risk. Good cricket shot, that.
Timed well, but it's still not enough at the moment.
I think this could be a key over with Cartledge on strike, and it looks like Graham's coming on to bowl.
Bit of pressure on Graham, isn't it?
He's had a good day. Can it continue happening? Cartledge may be after some revenge here. This wasn't a Graham that hit Cartledge for a few sixes in the first innings.
Yeah, it was quite a few.
After his first over, went for not many runs. He ended up going for like 27 or 2.
Kind of came out of the blue too, really, that little acceleration. So Graham on. There we go, 67, 36 deliveries. And I've seen Cartledge just bash the ball down the ground now on 4 occasions to get off the mark. And now he brings the man who's been on strike for a while. He's been out there for a while. Might see how many deliveries he's faced.
He's got to go. They need 12 and over. Well bowled though.
Well,
there
you can't do much with that, can you? Unless you've got a small spade.
Dig it out and nod your head and say well bowled. And please don't bowl it there again.
Well, maybe he's got to change it up and run down the wicket. It might not be his preferred mode of operation.
Oh.
Well, that's going to help.
There's never a fielder behind the keeper.
No, but it's amazing. It didn't really get a lot of momentum. It's being held up there, and just a couple. So at the back end of the festival of cricket here, the Southern Cricket Association. Once again, thanks to the sponsors and the Southern Cricket Association Board. Kookaburra, Bendigo Bank, Good Sports.
Oh,
now,
hit that in the cards.
That's finally, and it's gone long and strong. And 6.
I think the old beach faithful up there in the, I suppose the bleachers really enjoyed that shot.
Oh, they did, didn't they? There it is again. That's the best time shot so far. And Johnson, a little glimmer, a little bit of hope, a little rainbow on the horizon. And those two didn't look too fussed, did they? 2 ladies there just cruising back, sitting in the sun. Oh, well, someone hit a 6. It's been a while. Isn't that what you meant to do?
He's bowling well though. Sort of in the block hole sort of area. If he bowls short of a length here to Cartledge, I think he's going to put it over onto the skate park.
Well, just looking at who else has got a bowl. Graham's got 2 more after this. Wishart, Banks Smith, I think, may have 1 left as well. So some decisions need to be made. Walsh has a couple of overs. And that's the end of an over, which resulted in a 6. Cartledge, I don't think he's going to be running too many 2s in this game.
Yeah, I think the faithful there in the background in the effects mics wanted him to take a second.
Yeah, there's no chance.
Probably a great opportunity not to do it.
There we go.
The boys up top enjoying their day at the cricket.
So at the back end of this big match, one of these teams will walk away with a trophy. It's been a windy and at times challenging day for cricket. Banks Smith bowling his last, and Cartledge is still yet to get one out of the middle. However, he's always getting off the strike. Exactly. At the moment, Johnson is looking a likely candidate to clear the rope. And Banks Smith wants an extra player out on the offside. So they've actually got, you know, in many ways, probably desired here, because there's the player now got deep on the offside for Johnson, and he's probably got a bit more space on the leg side now to free up his arms. Yeah, he has to bowl there now. So it's a change of strategy here. They've gone, we're not going to give you anything to leg. You've got to now hit to off, which is probably not his preferred area to be hitting. So challenge is given back to Johnson.
Yeah, Josh Rowland's here bowling this over. He's just bowling them same tram lines. So it's up to, you know, Johnson to sort of manipulate where he wants to hit that ball.
Yeah, some good change here. There was a small glimmer where Johnson, if he had an opportunity to try and hit down the ground or to leg, he was a chance to find the rope, but they've just changed the field. They've dropped one of the offside players back. Cartledge, though. Well, that sounded nice, but there is a fielder covering that bit of boundary. There we go. So he's getting a little close to that middle of the bat, isn't he, Cartledge?
He is. I tell you, if it goes off that middle of the bat, it's going over the houses on the net side. Does hit a long ball. Must like the bat too, because there's a lot of tape on that bat.
Yeah, there's a few old bats out there today, which is nice to see. Not worried about modern day players who have 8 or 9 bats in their kit.
Or Steve Smith, who gets his bats flown in.
Does he really?
Picks his bats. 20 bats or so, gets flown into the change rooms and he goes through which bats he wants to
They're very soft as well, isn't it? They probably tend to break a bit more often than maybe some of the older bats.
Well, a lot of them players, they just use them straight off the factory line. They've been pressed. They don't knock them in. If they break them, they're not paying for it. So.
Yeah. You know, like the club cricketer who stands for 3 weeks, no new ball anywhere near, no bowling machine ball. Yeah. It's an old, crappy 4-piece has been battered around on the end of a stick. That's the overdone. And they are getting a little bit more happening here, but it still seems a very large task. 24 deliveries left, 4 overs, 52 runs to victory. But we saw in the last game, 1 big over. This is where, was it Rice? Got a big over in for New Norfolk about this time. And it's now the journey needed from Johnson, or potentially Cartledge if he gets up to the striker's end.
Well, they need a boundary in the first 2 balls. Preferably over the rope too. That could be it.
It's in, it's up, it's caught!
On the boundary.
The 3rd one.
Drewy's having a day out on the fence.
Well, Drew has taken 3 catches down there, and at no stage did you feel he wasn't going to wrap his fingers around it and celebrate. And Johnson is out. And maybe the game for Old Beach is done. It was timed well. He hit it a long way in the air. Now, it's interesting. Did Cartledge actually cross? I don't think they did. That's sloppy cricket.
Very sloppy.
And Banks Smith was coming around to help him out as well, but didn't need him in the end. His hands were solid. They've been solid all day. An outstanding outfield catching performance.
Chris Short coming out now with Cartledge. His job is to get Cartledge on strike. Out of the 23 balls left, Cartledge has to face probably at least 15 of those. But it is poor cricket that he didn't cross there. That ball was in the air for a long time.
Yeah, that's really sloppy. Graham would be really happy with that. Well, probably one of his better deliveries, but he had the field and there was so much pressure on Old Beach. It just makes it that much harder. Well, that's got to be a run, surely. Even now, Cartledge has to get down the other end. Nearly hit the helmet as well for an extra 5.
I think they need that at the moment.
They do need a few helmets out there just scattered around the ground and see if they can find an extra sneaky 5 runs. But all right, here we go. Last couple of balls of this over.
He needs 12. 12 off 2 balls.
So where's he going to hit? Is he going to go straight? There's protection on the leg side. It's just becoming a little harder now with
Bowling
that being
too
a
well.
signal. Still a ball left in the over. It's been a fine performance so far from New Norfolk in the field, and the ball, that's well timed. But there's a field of sweeping out there. We're not 100% sure as he's just grabbing his right hamstring there at the moment.
He's from all them bending down while he's wicket keeping in the
Well,
first inning.
yeah, he's maybe not used to it. Still stretching away.
Hard work being a keeper.
Yeah, no good at all, I don't think. Broken fingers.
I see the work Nathan Muir puts in. Like probably one of the best keepers
He's a
going around the coast.
superb keeper, isn't he?
Absolute freak behind the stumps.
Yeah, it's a mugs game being a keeper, but like a football goalie.
Yes.
I need to know, and that's the end of the over. Right, so 3 overs left. And it looks a distant future unless the fence and the net can be rattled as a youngster.
Joel Lester coming off his first bowl.
He was good in the first game for New Norfolk, and now he's going to have to come in late. And we've seen this throughout the games. They tend to bowl out or they tend to mix up the bowling, so a new bowler comes on right at the end. And this is it, isn't it? This is the opportunity as someone has expressed themselves in the effects mic. This is the opportunity.
Let's go, mate.
With the wind going across the ground towards Cartledge's leg side, he's probably got to go the cow corner sort of shot. He's got the power to clear the fence. He's going to need at least 4 boundaries here.
Right, this is the over.
Over.
Right, we reckon this is the over. Chris and I reckon this is the over. This is going to be it. This will decide the match.
Go, Les.
Well, he's gone to the off. He's gone straight to a fielder. Lester, first ball, gets a wicket. Cartledge will disappear. And maybe with it, the hope of Old Beach. And we'll see in the replay, he didn't want to take on. That was actually potential to take on that leg side boundary, but he stayed confident that, tell you what, is that I suppose it is a catch. He did throw it up. He looked like he controlled it.
Good catch there by Josh Walsh.
Wasn't quite Herschel Gibbs. And a very slow retreat, Justin Cartledge.
Yeah, I think he played the wrong shot there altogether. You'd back your power, go over the top.
All right, youngster. Thomas Blackwell, who bowled so well, bowled his heart out. He's going to have to go in with Chris Scott and solve this dilemma for Old Beach at the moment. It's a very tricky Sudoku that they're not getting much success at. And Lester, I bet his heart rate has just dropped a little.
He's enjoying it now.
He wasn't when he was throwing the ball, I reckon. I'm sure he wanted to bowl, but maybe not at the end of the game. However, it's not 5 or 6 and over, it's well over 10 and over, so it's a much more enjoyable time, I'm sure. It's a very neat looking cricket shot for a single.
Very talented cricketer, young Tom. Got a very bright future down the trail. This year he's sort of bowling out of his skin in the 50 over competition, so taking his game to another level. And as you said, with that shot there, he's got the confidence with the bat as well. So all next few seasons should be pretty well for the young fella.
Is he aspirations to maybe play up a level at any stage?
Not 100% sure on that. I think if he has another great year, well, continues to have a great year in the second half of the season, and then next season, goes, because he's still only young.
Yep.
Like he might just want to just play with his mates here at Old Beach.
Go, Les.
Or go to that next level.
Go, mate.
That's sort of something, if you're good enough and you're enjoying your cricket, but you want to go from playing here to training 2 nights a week.
That's right, and considerable more extra work at earlier season. That's good bowling from Lister. He's come on in the money, got a wicket early on. It's more his length's been really good. He's not giving anything away for the batters to try and get under, and now he's got Blackwell to bowl to.
George coming back from a busted finger So he hasn't played many games this season, but hopefully his injury worries are behind him because he does strengthen New Norfolk's bowling depth.
Just the one, Wish! Just the one! Bowler! Yes, Wish!
Well, there's not a lot of opportunities now, as even the hopes of Old Beach, they've nearly given up the chase at the moment. Just a ball or so and 2 overs left. And neither batter has really been able to get the ball in the air and worry the net or the people living on Jetty Road, as this game is just petering out a little bit. And in Norfolk, you'd imagine they're going to enjoy celebrating this grand final victory. They've had some success in the 50-over comp. They've worked their way up. Used to be in the old Derwent Valley competition, and are becoming a powerhouse of this Southern Cricket Association. So 2 overs left. Graham to continue from the southern end. Clears his leg there, Scott, but doesn't clear the fielder or the rope, and straight to Drew. Has had a beauty in the outfield, and he's taken all his catches there at long on that end of the ground. He's fiercely protected that little bit of rope down there.
Yeah, nothing's getting past him unless it's well over the boundary.
It has to be another couple of metres, doesn't it?
And there has to be enough there for Old Beach's liking today.
Have to hurry here. Well, he's out anyway. It was kind of unnecessary in the end because there's only going to be an extra run and they need boundaries. And in Norfolk are running away with this one. They can sense, they can smell, and they're very much about the taste victory.
Yeah, they're starting to celebrate it now.
Yeah, and Rowlands with a good bit of fielding down deep on the fence. Got a strong throw in, got in a strong, stable position.
There's nothing better than when you're in the position on the field and with all your teammates around you, you know you're going to win a grand final. With minimal amount of balls to go, it's near impossible for
Look at
Old
that
Beach
throw, though. So the throw was that good that Graham was able to fumble the ball and still take the bails off.
And he had a bit of a laugh to himself as well.
So it'll become very easy at the moment for New Norfolk after a pretty even first game, although Old Beach had a comfortable victory in the end. A phenomenal and thrilling second semi-final between Wellington and New Norfolk. We've had a little bit of a mild physic in the grand final. We thought 143 would be probably not quite enough. We thought New Norfolk may have been shy 10, 15 runs, but in the end, they've had plenty as Graham. Looked like for a second, long on was in again.
The old Aaron Drew is starting to lick his lips again.
He wants another catch, doesn't he?
He does.
What's that? 4 catches in the outfield. That's incredible, really, in a T20 game.
Great day.
Was it? Yeah, that's a fair effort.
He's been very clean on the ground as well.
So Justin Little on strike. New Norfolk players over there about to run onto the ground in a few moments, I reckon. Make their Christmas a little bit more interesting. Well, that's all right.
It's not a bad shot, that.
Well, that might not make it. No, it isn't. It's a catch for Bank Smith. And Graham with another one.
He's finishing him off here.
Well, they're kind of going down swinging. It's been hard to hit away, Graham. It's just wobbled in the wind too. Maybe rolling his fingers down that one a little bit. It didn't wobble in the hands of Bank Smith. Took a comfortable catch.
Definitely enjoying his day, Graham.
Maybe the conversation now is who is the player of the match. And maybe Graham is firming up. He's firming as a favourite at the moment, as Aldridge now must be the last one out.
Runs, wickets.
There's Davin Wooldridge, a very slow walk out to face the last remnants of this very warm cockles of New Norfolk. The fire's burning out for Old Beach.
Oh, that's a nice shot.
Well, I'll tell you what, where's that come from? A little late.
Get him up the order.
First ball. In fact, it's not. It must be Little, isn't it? Little. He's only faced a couple of deliveries. He's launched it.
He's picked that up well.
That's as effective a cricket shot as we're seeing for the whole innings for Old Beach. That is wonderfully timed and hitting across the line. Something that some of the other batters weren't able to do. They weren't able to hit across the line, and it just allowed New Norfolk to get into a rhythm, bowl back of a length, bowl Yorkers, bowl even half volleys.
That's what they've done.
Yeah, and they've been able to run away with it. So Lister will bowl the last over at 34 runs. So technically,
they can still get there.
They can win it. There's probably some wides or some no ball sixes, but unless there's a boundary of the six variety off this first one, it's going to be a victory to New Norfolk. Well, it doesn't matter. It results in a Lister delivery which crashes into the leg stump, and victory to New Norfolk. They win the SCA T20 Grand Final late in December in 2019 on a windy, woolly day here at Old Beach. New Norfolk are the champions. They defeated Wellington in a controversial cliffhanger in the second of the semi-finals. Old Beach had a cruisy win first up over Claremont, but in the end, Old Beach were no match for a magnificent bowling performance from New Norfolk and a wonderfully captained side, well directed. And Chris Hobson, there's our victors.
They deserve that. They were definitely the better team in this game. He said it might have been a bit of luck for them to get through for the semi, but they thoroughly deserve their victory. And just a reminder that both teams here will represent the SCA in the Hurricanes 2020 League.
So both teams go through, which is great.
I think they play in the Huon. So there's a chance for Old Beach to redeem themselves, go through their opportunity to be statewide 2020 champions.
Well, there's a bit of good news, I suppose, for Old Beach. They still get a chance to progress in the local competition. 33 runs was the margin in the end. We'll just have a really quick debrief. At the top of the innings, Rice, Heron and Graham did the damage for New Norfolk with the bat. Their score of 6 for 142. There was some good bowling performances, particularly from Blackwell, 2 for 18 off his 4 overs, and 4 overs from Denton, the wily, crafty Denton, 17 runs. He did a good job. And then for Old Beach, they never really got things going. The horrid run out of Rhett Lockyer sold up the garden path. He was out for 1, run out trying to get down to the keeper's end. Clay came in. He hit a nice 6 and a couple of boundaries. Denton just started to get into his game, but then Islam was out. And then suddenly O'Brien and Johnson had so much work to do and they were unable to really get things happening. It was an outstanding bowling display from Rice. 4 overs for him, 2 for 16. Banks Smith was good, 1 for 10 from his 3 overs. And a really nice finishing off from Rowlands and Graham as well. Graham with a couple of overs, a couple of wickets. Some great catching from Drew. Commanding performances to see New Norfolk head to the change rooms to celebrate. I think we're going to hang around for all the presentations here, which are going to be done in a short while. Really like to thank you, Chris Hobson, for coming in, providing all the insights and all your knowledge about the local comp and a bit of insight about the SCA. So thanks very much, Chris, for you.
My pleasure. Thank you very much for having me.
And
really enjoyed it.
And to all the sponsors out there, thank you very much. Thanks to all the clubs. Thank you to Old Beach. Don't go anywhere. If you want to see the celebrations and the trophy, we are going to stick around and try and film that. It's been a great day here. Aaron Peach Roberts here on Dub TV, and bye for now.
Good day.
Lockie was a little slow. That is out. Well, Clay hesitated, Lockyer hesitated, and just like the second semi-final, New Norfolk lost a wicket early with a run out, and a huge moment. And it resulted in the star batter back in the sheds without making any contribution. Now he's got down the ground, but there's a fielder. That's a massive blow. Is that Drew down there taking the catch? And a lot of New Norfolk players getting around each other.
Does Islam just go hard, or does he actually build into the innings?
Maybe he's got to display his natural game.
Might not get a chance.
Well, look at the celebration from Banks Smith. His muscles are definitely up.
They are bulging.
And the forehead was about to pop and explode. Eyes around it. It's been quite windy and it's very dry through the middle of Tasmania. As Denton is trying to maybe get rid of the dry spell here and get a 6, or at least a boundary. Well, he goes down the ground and he finds it right on cue. Well, we are sometimes the curse, but other times we are the motivator. And Jared Denton finds the fence. And in the chase, only one player so far has really made it. Well, 2 players now. Denton in double figures, but prior to that, Clay made.
Oh, that's a good shot.
Now, is that going to make it? And that's an catch. So Denton gone. And another catch and another wicket to long on. So 100 runs needed off 11 overs. There it is, 100 off 66 balls. So just under 10. And there's a chance of the bowl at the keeper's end. And see a bit of strike there, wasn't he?
Could have had him, I think.
And Rowlands looks like that choice is really at the moment Johnson on strike. So he's got a really similar field. He can try and get it behind and do something with his body. Go towards the offside. And that's just gone over the stumps. Wow. I'm surprised.
Actually, the bowlers from both ends are just bowling in that channel, and Seb is just setting the field to where he wants them to bowl, and the batsman's not changing where he wants to hit it.
Well, that's straight down the ground. That might get a result. And that's 6. Well, there you go.
Maybe this is the turning point. Because he's known as a big hitter.
Well, there's a spot. Edge it past the keeper.
That's it. One thing it doesn't tell you in the scorebook, how you got your 4 runs.
No, absolutely. That's disappointing.
The boundary riders at square leg, mid-wicket, wide mid-wicket and mid-on.
Well, there we go. He said it straight to the fielder. Well, you called it. Chris Hobson here on Duff TV. Comfortable catch right into the mid-rift. And another wicket.
You think Cartledge would have to go. Cartledge gets out, she's all over. Apologies, there's Johnson. O'Brien out, over before. He's over the top 6 bets.
Well, it's taken a tree out, and maybe a koala as well.
This is the
so at the back end of the festival of cricket here, the Southern Cricket Association. Once again, thanks to the sponsors and the Southern Cricket Association Board. Kookaburra, Bendigo Bank, Good Sports. Now,
hit that in the cars.
That's finally, and it's gone long and strong. And 6.
That could be it.
It's in, it's up, it's caught!
On the boundary.
The 3rd one.
Drew is having a day out on the fence.
Well, Drew has taken 3 catches down there, and at no stage did you feel he wasn't going to wrap his fingers around it and celebrate. Well, he's gone to the off. He's gone straight to a fielder. Lester, first ball, gets a wicket. Cartledge will disappear. Have to hurry here. Well, he's out anyway. It was kind of unnecessary in the end because there's only going to be an extra run and they need boundaries. And New Norfolk are running away with this one. They can sense, they can smell, and they're very much about the taste victory.
Yeah, they're starting to celebrate it now.
Yeah, and Rowlands with a good bit of fielding down deep on the fence. that's all right.
It's not a bad shot, that.
Well, that might not make it. No, it isn't. It's a catch for Bank Smith. And Graham with another one.
Oh, that's a nice shot.
Well, I'll tell you what.
It's over.
Where's that come from? A little late.
Get him up the order.
First ball. In fact, it's not. It must be Little, isn't it? Little. Cliffhanger in the second of the semi-finals. Old Beach had a cruisy win first up over Claremont, but in the end, Old Beach were no match for a magnificent bowling performance from New Norfolk and a wonderfully captained side, well directed. And Chris Hobson, there's our victors.
They deserve that. They were definitely the better team in this game. He said it might have been a bit of luck for them to get through for the semi, but they thoroughly deserve their victory. And just a reminder that both teams here will represent the SCA in the Hurricanes 2020 League.
So both teams go through, which is great.
I think they're playing the Huon. So there's a chance for Old Beach to redeem themselves, go for the opportunity to be statewide 2020 champions.
Well, there's a bit of good news, I suppose, for Old Beach. They still get a chance to progress in the local competition. 33 runs was the mark.